What's up, Chaos Shinobi here. This is what if neglected Naruto trained seriously and is godlike. Summary: all the teachers of Naruto didn't took his training seriously. Naruto decides to take his training into his own hands and becomes a godlike shinobi through his hard work and talent. Chapter 1: Realization, Betrayal, and Determination. The village hidden in the leaf, otherwise known as Konohagakure on Sato, or in short Konoha, is one of the greatest ninja village of the 5 main greatest ninja village located in 5 great countries. There are also several other smaller countries between them, and while there is an ocean, but for some reasons all the countries are connected with each other by landmass. The head ninja for each great 5 nation is given a title of Kage. In Konoha the head ninja is called Hokage. Now is the reign of Son Daime Hokage known as Sarutobi Hiruzen, but it should be a Yondaime that should be in charge. But it wasn't meant to be, because 12 years ago a natural disaster known as Nine-Tailed Demon Fox or Kyubi suddenly appeared in the village, and it was so powerful that any attack towards failed to even scratch it. But the Yondaime sacrificed his life to kill the beast by using an extremely powerful Fuinjutsu to kill it. After that, Son Daime has to take back the control which he had retired from just 2 years prior. "What a load of bull," said a boy of 12-year-old boy bitterly, who has bright golden yellow spiked hair and light blue eyes. He is wearing a sleeveless orange hoodie, a half-sleeved blue shirt inside it, and orange pants. This is Uzumaki Naruto, the Ninja Academy class clown and dead last, and he is in very bad mood because earlier today he had failed the graduation second time. He had applied for early graduation exam ahead of schedule for his age because the instructor ignored his questions and all the students of class laughed at him and no one in the academy stand up for him. So he thought that if he became ninja then he would not have to put up with them anymore, but due to negligence and ignorance of the instructors he had failed second time. And on top of that, when was sitting on that swing just outside of the academy dejected of not passing, he heard whispers of a chunin telling his friends that it was good that he didn't pass, and when his friend asked why he replied that the Yondaime used him as a sacrifice just to seal the Kyubi inside him, and then he was hastily shut up by his friend by saying that it was an S-class secret. So now he was reading the piece of where Yondaime was said to be able to kill the beast, but to think that said natural disaster was inside him somewhere is a bit overwhelming. He snapped the book shut and thought of his future, of his life, and what he wanted to do now. From the age of 5 his dream was to be Hokage, and he was determined to train extra hard to achieve it. But as soon as he was admitted the Ninja Academy and saw that there was no one to help him or even be a friend to him, his drive became less and less, and eventually he began spending his goofing off and playing prank, due to which, although unknowingly, improved his stealth, but the other aspect didn't improve at all. He was waiting for someone to acknowledge him and teach him, but now that he knew the reason of everyone ignoring him, there was no chance of him getting any help at all. Hell, even the old man Hokage, who he thought of as his grandfather, didn't help him at all, only said that it would be seen as favoritism and to try harder, but there must be something to try harder. After thinking things though, he realizes that he still want to become Hokage, but he would be a Hokage that would not use other to be a sacrificed, and to become that he would need power, and there can't be any free shortcut to it. He realizes that he had to take things seriously and portrait himself that he hadn't know of his tenant, and he is the same idiot till he became the ninja, which also known as shinobi, which means to endure and not break under the pressure. But the new question arises from where he would learn to be a proper ninja, and the answer hit him like a ton of bricks. There is a library at the academy which he had never bothered to visit because reading bored him. So he made up his mind that first thing tomorrow and went to sleep. Next morning, Naruto is making his way towards the academy library with a large smile plastered on his face to keep up the act. He had decided that no one would know of his acting till he became ninja, but first his goal is to improve himself to his classmate level in 3 months, as there was a 3 months break till the starts of his new semester where he would be assigned a new homeroom teacher, but now he wouldn't be depend on anyone for training. He entered the library and searched the shelves for the subject related to first year academic course. He selects scrolls of taijutsu, which consist of basic academic katas and upon which students can improve upon, chakra, which contains details instruction of it, history of Konoha, geography of various places, mental conditioning, body conditioning, and since he knew that first year students activate their chakra and he already activated it, so he also took the scroll of chakra control with him. He took out his only storage scroll, which was a gift from the Son Daime Hokage, and sealed all the item inside it and make his way to his room. As soon as he entered his room, he sorted out what he should read first. He opened first scroll regarding chakra. At first he was confused what the hell is chakra is, but when he started reading he realizes that the instructors had told him chakra as katra and he had believed him, and now he was truly realizing the extent of his stunted growth. The scroll contains details of how to unlock chakra and its uses and what it consists of. According to the scroll, chakra is a energy present in all living beings, be it plant to an animal or a civilian, but they were a deactivated state, but due to the training ninja can use it for various supernatural purposes by molding their physical energy with mental or spiritual energy. The physical energy represents raw power of chakra while mental energy represent control of a ninja have over his or her chakra. A ninja can use chakra for three major branch of techniques: ninjutsu, genjutsu, taijutsu. If a ninja has more physical energy than spiritual energy, he can excel in taijutsu and ninjutsu while he can still use genjutsu but not as proficiently as other two. Similarly, if a ninja has more spiritual energy than physical energy, he can excel in genjutsu and ninjutsu but not be proficient in taijutsu. But if a ninja is able to properly balance his physical and mental energy ratio, then he or she can excel in all of them. But it's extremely difficult as only ninja to be able to achieve a Shodai Hokage Senju Hashirama. At the very beginning, a person only have a small amount of chakra present in them, but it can be increased by training. There are three methods to increase chakra capacity. First and direct method is to use all the chakra present in them to the brink of exhaustion, and in time the amount of chakra your body produces will increase. Second is to increase physical energy or spiritual energy by training. The physical energy can be increased by maintaining healthy diet and doing body conditioning exercise, while mental energy can be increased by doing meditation, chakra control exercise and learning new useful things, and it also increases a ninja's experience increases. But the mental energy is quite very difficult to increase in comparison to physical energy, thus it's very hard to gain perfect control of chakra. The third method is to use all three methods to increase your chakra reserve. If a ninja is to increase his physical energy and spiritual energy simultaneously, then his chakra reserve will shot up by huge margin, but he still will be able to have same amount of control over his chakra when he had small capacity. Now the direct method will have different meaning in this, but to understand this you have to understand the difference between chakra capacity and chakra reserve. Chakra capacity is the amount of chakra flowing through a ninja chakra circulatory system at time which is present in whole body like blood circulatory system. That is the amount of chakra a ninja can use in ninjutsu, genjutsu etc. Once a ninja used up that amount, he had to mold his chakra again to use it, but if a ninja reserves is low, then it can lead to extreme chakra exhaustion and death. It depends upon the lowest amount of energy a ninja has. For example, if a ninja has physical energy of 50 and spiritual energy of 20, then his capacity will be 20 times 20 equals 400. That is average amount of a low-level genin and has potential of excelling in taijutsu and ninjutsu. Similarly, if a ninja has spiritual energy of 50 and physical energy of 20, then his capacity will be 20 times 20 equals 400. That is average amount of a low-level genin and has the potential of excel in genjutsu. Chakra reserve is amount of physical and mental energy a ninja can mold to produce chakra. Its amount can be same or more the amount of chakra capacity. It's depend upon all the physical and mental energy a ninja has. For example, if a ninja has physical energy of 50 and spiritual energy of 20, then his reserve will be 50 times 20 equals 1000. That is average amount of a low-level genin and has potential of excelling in taijutsu and ninjutsu. Similarly, if a ninja has spiritual energy of 50 and physical energy of 20, then his reserve will be 50 times 20 equals 1000. That is average amount of a low-level genin and has the potential of excel in genjutsu. As you saw in the example here, a ninja has more than double the amount of chakra reserve than his capacity, so he can use same amount of chakra of his capacity 2 times safely and will only feel tired after that. But if he or she attempted to use more than that, he will starts to used up his life force required to keep him alive. To determine the amount of your chakra, you have to channel your chakra till you feel tired at the seal present at the bottom of the scroll. It's a seal designed by second Hokage Senju Tobirama to determine the amount of chakra a person has by measuring the time required to deplete your chakra and how many times you can repeat the process for a day. After that, the information in the form of number will appear just under it. Naruto had to read the scroll 4 or 5 times and memorize it thoroughly. After that, he finally understands it completely because it's very difficult for him to sit still, and from what he remember, it was like that when he had activate his chakra system. He has suspicion of its cause but decides to complete it first. He opened the scroll all the way up to the end and there he saw a symbol consisting of various squidgy lines that he can read and starts to channel his chakra. After 2 hours 15 minutes an exhausted Naruto finished channeling his chakra through the seal and waited for the information to appear, and after 15 more minutes of patiently waiting the information appeared, which baffled Naruto. Chakra capacity, 900 near Lojanan. Chakra reserve, 6,000 Lochanin, and the ratio of physical and spiritual energy is 6.61. If you are incapable of performing long physical daunting tasks, then your spiritual energy is more than physical energy. Advice is to do more physical exercise and body conditioning to increase your chakra. If you are having trouble in concentrating on any task, then your physical energy is more than spiritual energy. Advice is to do minimum amount of physical exercise and body conditioning required to keep you fit, and start the method to increase your mental energy, which will not only increase your control over your chakra, also chakra capacity and reserve as well. After reading his information from the scroll and having vaguely understanding the reason of his large reserve, Naruto kept reading first chapter of all the books he had taken from the library. By the time he had finished the reading, the sun was already down and it was nearly dinner time. So he make his way towards the only place which accept him to eat his fill. On the way he was deeply thinking about all the thing he had learned. First thing, he came to conclusion that he had to make a timetable if he had to complete the first semester course within the first month. Next he was to eat healthy in order to keep him fit, and he thought that in that way he can skip the body conditioning for next 6 months and that would be enough time to bring his spiritual energy up to acceptable level. But he understands that if he has to become his dream Hokage, then he would have to have massive chakra reserve and perfect control over his chakra. To do that he would have to work extra hard and for extra time on his chakra control, exercise and mental conditioning. Next comes taijutsu practice. From what he read from the scroll, that the academy style consists of 3 parts. Basic, which consists of how to properly execute punch, kick, without losing power while not letting your guard down. Intermediate, which demonstrate how to successfully feint, guard, counter blows from your opponent without losing balance. Advances to how to perform each of the above flawlessly in a single combat. He decided that he would show some of his improvement in taijutsu to everyone to test himself, because he didn't have any means to test that with anything. He noticed that he had reached his destination, so he plastered a smile and entered the establishment while shouting "Asen 5 miso chasu ramen and keep it coming." "Oh Naruto, how are you and what happened to your test? Did you pass?" asked an old man of age approximately of 55 years. His name is Ichiraku Tuchi. He is the owner of this ramen bar named after him, Ichiraku Ramen. Naruto winced for a brief moment and his eyes dimmed for a moment, which was unnoticed by the old man, but he bounced back and boisterously replied, "Well, I failed, but next time I will definitely pass." "By the way, where's Ayame-chan?" asked Naruto. Old man chuckled at his upbeat attitude. "Here you go your order," and Ayame went to bring some ingredients for shop. And went to continue his order. While eating, Naruto was thinking about his diet problem. He paused at mid-eating, looking at the old man. He gulped his rest of his order and tentatively asked Nituchi, "Gigi, can you make my ramen a lot more healthier?" The older man raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean? Why suddenly you ask that? You never seemed to bothered with it before." Asked perplexed. "Well, you see, I just recently found out that to grow taller I need a healthy diet, but I also like ramen, so..." Naruto trailed off in mid-speech, waiting for reaction. Seeing a little hesitant expression on his face, he decided to play a little dirty. "Well, I would eat different food, but no one allows me to eat at their place," he finished in a downhearted tone. The old man face softened seeing his face and smiled softly. "Oh, alright, I will make you healthier ramen from now on, but you have to pay a little extra as well." Naruto doesn't like to manipulate him, but he had no other way of getting healthier food, so H smiles brightly and paid his bill and thanked him and went to his apartment for sleep. As he was about to sleep, he remembers to create a schedule, so took out a notebook and starts to write. From 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. meditation, 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. chakra control, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. taijutsu practice, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. study all the books. Satisfied, he went to sleep. Next morning, as soon as Naruto woke, he hastily finished his daily morning routine and went towards the Hokage monument. It's a place which is made of massive stone face of all the previous Hokage's face. Starting from the left, it has a face of Shodai Hokage Senju Hashirama, to his right it contains Nidaime Hokage Senju Tobirama, to his very right it is young face of current son Daime Sarutobi Hiruzen, and lastly it contains Yondaime Hokage Namikaze Minato. All the faces of Hokages are looking over the village like gods are looking upon them. It is one of a place for Naruto to get away from ignorance of villagers. But now Naruto was not going to it, but what is behind it? The land behind Hokage Monument doesn't contain anything, and by chance he had found a big enough clearing where he can continue his training without any restraint. As soon as he reached the middle of clearing, he took out the scroll containing meditation and practiced it till 9:30 a.m. After that he opened his chakra control scroll and starts to read. First and only chakra control exercise it's mentioned is leaf exercise. In this one must be capable to hold a leaf to his/her forehead for a minimum of 15 minutes. But Naruto realizes that all the academic students have small reserve and capacity, so it isn't necessary for any higher level technique, but due to his condition, so if he was to be able to gain perfect chakra control he would have to make every available exercise more difficult. But first exercise is leaf exercise, in which he had to channel minimum amount of chakra to his forehead, which will create suction, and then place a leaf over it. If the amount of chakra is less than leaf will simply fall off, but if it more than required then it will shut off from forehead. So with that in mind he tried it, but the result was as not he was expecting at all. His leaf simply disintegrated. By simply the result of most basic exercise it was clear that Naruto has work cut out for him. But he didn't get discouraged but pushed through it with sheer determination and continued till 1:30 p.m. Now the leaf at least didn't disintegrate, just blew away. After eating a dose of healthy ramen he went back to clearing and began practice taijutsu. The scroll contains how to attack by executing different types of punch, kick, elbows, knees. So he practiced them by repeatedly performing them on stress repeatedly, and by 1 hour he had gotten an idea how to perform them effectively, but by no way he had perfected them, and his fists, elbows, knees and calf had also began bleeding. So he decides that to take a break from it and began practicing throwing kunai, shuriken, and starts them at 10 feet. After finishing his first day of exercise Naruto is exhausted, but there is certain amount of satisfaction in his eyes of successfully completely, and by now all his injuries are also almost healed, only just light scrapes remained, and by the looks of it they were also begun to heal as well. And seeing this Naruto realized the second good thing he had gotten from having Kyuubi inside him. First being is his massive chakra reserve for his age. He ponders that if there is a way to meet the Kyuubi himself, maybe he would be able to meet him through meditation. Since meditation requires one to look inside himself, and that is the same process for someone to have access to his chakra for first time. He shook those thoughts away and went to his apartment. After reaching his apartment he freshens up and began his most disliked thing to do regarding a ninja, that is reading book. But he accepts that if he has to become Hokage he has to have vast knowledge, which will only be possible by reading damned books, and it would also help in increasing his spiritual energy. And for the next 3 months Naruto continues this routine, and now it was again time for the academy to start again tomorrow. He was not looking forward to it because it would cut his time from his training. And thinking of his training he was impressed with his own progress. After first month he had began seeing the improvement in everything he had been training on. He had success in getting into meditative state much easier and can stay longer in it than when he had first started. At first it took 1 hour for him to get into meditative state, and he can only last longer in it for 10 minutes. But now not only he can it in 20 minutes and stay in it for 40 minutes, but can see his chakra core vaguely as well. In terms of chakra control it took a month for him to be able to hold the leaf for 2 hours on his forehead, but once he had achieved it he began thinking how to make it more difficult, and the answer he got from the chakra control scroll itself. From it he learned that the forehead is an easy place to concentrated chakra to it, so that's why the basic exercise is made up by it. The next difficult place is palm and fingers, and most difficult place is feet. So with it in mind he began using same principle to stick leaf to first his palm, then on each of his finger, and lastly on his feet as well, and it took him second month to finish all this. At the start of month 3 he had tried to create Bonshine, but again it came out as dead a clone can get, but it has a little more color definition. After that he racked his mind for how to modify the exercise, because as far he knows that he can't get any more exercise till he became Genin. After thinking long and hard he found a way to increase his control. First, he had to make a leaf float on his palm on a specific spot. After that he tried that on each of his fingers separately, and it took him 8 days for him to be able to float the leaf on each of his fingers and palms, and after that he tries to spin the leaf on each of his fingers and palms separately, and it took him 12 days to complete it. But the hardest is to be able to perform all those things simultaneously. The amount of chakra required to realize through his hand is so great that it causes chakra burns on it, but like his physical injuries it would also heal quickly. One good thing happened, that due to his increase in control he mastered Kawarimi and Hench to near perfection, and now it took him only one hand seal to be able to perform it, and it was also with almost no smoke. His shuriken jutsu, which consists of throwing kunai and shuriken at a target from a distance, has also improved, and he had tested himself today based on the final exam of this section, which is always fixed. The requirement is to be able to throw them from 50 meters, and depending upon the score the level is determined. If a person score less than 5 out of 10 then it was fail, if a person score less than 7 out of 10 then it was low Genin level, if a person score less than 9 out of 10 then it was mid Genin, if a person score less than 10 out of 10 then it was high Genin. And he had scored 8/10 in kunai throwing and 9/10 in shuriken throwing. The level above high Genin is decided by increasing the distance and speed of throwing. Chunin level will be at a distance from 100 meters. 150 meters for Jonin, and above that will come Elite Jonin, Cage, etc. He had found an interesting thing with regardings to his taijutsu, that due to his excel and healing due to Kyuubi it would took less time for him to get used to the moves. In other words, he would take him 10 times less than to learn than an ordinary boy of his age, and it helped him to be able to complete both basic and intermediate scroll in 6 weeks, and for that he was able to get mastery in taijutsu and complete the third scroll because it took him remaining 6 weeks, which is double that amount for each for the previous 2. According to the scroll, if one was able to successfully follow all the move demonstrated in the final scroll through instincts, then then his Daijutsu skill will be somewhat between high Genin to low Chunin. He had also continued his duties on the evening and had memorized everything required for him to know pass graduation written test on flying colors, and it helped him with his short attention span, and now it did not take him much effort to sit still, which helped him immensely for his meditation, and it also helped him increasing spiritual energy, which in turn helped him in increasing chakra control. Now Naruto was sitting on his bed, and in his front was the same scroll which helped him to find his chakra capacity and reserve. He was contemplating whether or not to see his stats now. After some pondering he thought, what the hell, what did I have to lose, might as well see. And began the procedure, and after 2 long hours he saw the result. Chakra capacity, 4,900 near low Chunin, chakra reserve, 14,000 mid Chunin high Chunin, and the ratio of physical and spiritual energy is 3:1. Seeing the results, his jaw unhinged. Seeing his increase in chakra levels at the start of his training, he had only near low Jinan chakra capacity, and now it was nearly low Chunin, and his chakra reserve has increased from low Chunin to somewhere between mid Chunin to high Chunin. And from the physical and spiritual ratio, while it was clear that his physical energy was still more than his spiritual energy, but where before it was more than 6 times more than spiritual energy, now it was only 3 times more, and this indicates that his chakra control has improved drastically. In fact, it has improved the most out of all the thing he had been training. But he began thinking how it's possible. Everyone knows that the more chakra the lesser the control, so how not only his chakra capacity and reserves increases but chakra control as well. After some thinking he came to realize that chakra is made up of both physical and mental energy, which represents power and control respectively, and he had spent his last 3 months meditating, reading and practicing chakra control, and which increases his spiritual energy, and he didn't do anything to increase his physical energy. Sure, he improved his Daijutsu, but his physical stats such as speed, strength, stamina, health are still the same, and by his estimation they were at mid-level Jinan, and it would take him long time to increase those. With that he came to a conclusion that no matter how much his chakra increases, if ratio is same or less than %, his chakra control will not be affected, and when his ratio become 1:1 he would have achieved perfect chakra control, which is present goal to achieve that within the academy. All in all, he would measure him a mid-level Genin with high chakra levels. With that thought he went to bed. Last thing his mind before sleep take over is that how to make up for the time he would waste in academy. Chapter 2, On the Path to Become Great. Naruto was now sitting inside the class of Ninja Academy waiting for all the students and teachers to enter. He had decided to come to academy early than anyone. He was wearing a new orange jumpsuit he had gotten for very cheap. He decides that till the end of academy he would wear this, and made everyone think of him as always a dead last loudmouth clown. But even if he had decided he would dead last, he wants to at least show everyone his Daijutsu skill, which will help him gain valuable combat experience no matter how less. He was also thinking how to continue his training and how to make up for his time in academy, and what new ninja skill he would learn that would help him. He has several options. He can either choose between Iryo Ninjutsu, Kenjutsu, Bojutsu and Fuinjutsu. He carefully remembers all the things he had learned about them previous month. First is Iryo Ninjutsu. This branch of ninja techniques is used by medic ninja to heal from any kind of injuries, from a mere scratches to life-threatening injuries. But to be able to perform Iryo Ninjutsu one must have near perfect control of chakra by having more spiritual energy than physical energy, or perfect chakra control. If a ninja have more physical energy compared to his or spiritual energy, then they can excel in Iryo Ninjutsu despite having good control over their chakra. So for Naruto it's not possible to learn this at this time. Second is Kenjutsu, as a fighting style like Daijutsu, but in here ninja uses any types of blade. To be able to become proficient in this branch is also not viable at this time because he doesn't have any extra time, maybe after he became a ninja. Bojutsu technique is a fighting style which involves fighting with a staff or similar weapon. It also required a huge amount of time to become proficient in it as well, so he decides against it as well. Lastly, Fuinjutsu. It's an obscure art and there are many ninja who had mastered this art as well. From what he knows, only Yondaime Hokage was a master in this and used this art in combat, but despite being a rather difficult and unpopular art, no one can refuse its effectiveness, and he is the living example, and it required reading as well and can be performed even if he had less control of his chakra. Though the only problem in learning is that due to being its difficult art he had no idea where to gather the materials from which it can be learned. In the end he decided to search the academic library thoroughly for anything remotely related to Fuinjutsu after today's class session. After deciding to dwell on to Fuinjutsu he began mentally reviewing his schedule. He had earlier decided that he would woke up at 4 a.m. instead of 6 a.m. and continue his exercise as he was doing, but just cutting a little at time from everything. So his new schedule is 4:30 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. meditation, 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Daijutsu practice, After Academy 2:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Chakra Control and from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Fuinjutsu Studies. He snapped out of his thought when the door to the room opened and two people came in. First is a man of average build. He was wearing a blue pants and matching shirts over it. He was wearing a light green bulky jacket when he recognized as a standard uniform for Chunin rank ninja. He had large scar running across his nose and had maintained his brownish hair in a ponytail fashion on top of his head. Next man to enter is wearing almost identical clothes as well, but he had mixed between silver and purple hair and he was a bit fair in comparison to previous man. He gave his attention to the Scar Sensei when he began speaking, and now Naruto realizes that he had been oblivious to his surrounding, which was very deadly for a ninja because he hadn't even noticed when the students began filling in classroom. He instantly decides to add this to his do list. Welcome to the final and last year of Academy class and yours all chances to becoming a ninja. Started speaking the Scar Man, and seeing all the students quiet down he continues, my name is Umino Iruka and this is my assistant teacher Mizuki and he will be helping me to keep you all in line. At this he gestured towards the other man and in response the other man gave all of the students a small wave with a slight smile. Now let's start the introduction, but first, is there anyone who had failed graduation exam previously? Please raise your hand. Ordered Iruka. There were few civilian students who raised their hands and also Naruto raised his hands as well. Iruka notes down all of their names and when his eyes lands on Naruto his eyes gain slight hard glint and he jotted down, you have failed the exam twice now, that means this your last chance. I expect you to work hard, otherwise maybe you should quit being a ninja, said Iruka patronizingly while looking at Naruto, which caused all the students to laugh at him. While Naruto merely scoffed and sat down and ignored everyone, making Iruka's eye twitch slightly. After that the introduction began and Naruto was keenly observing everyone and memorizing everyone family names to do research on them. Then the lesson starts, but after a while Naruto was bored and after quite some time when he was just on the verge of sleeping the alarm sounded signaling he'd lunch break. Everyone made his way to outside the academy while he decided to go to the library to search for the Fuinjutsu scrolls. Just as he was about to exit the classroom he was blocked by several kids, and in the center of them was a boy who was a full-sleeved hooded jacket and loose pants, and he had two fangs-like mark on each of his cheeks. On top of his head was a small white pup resting there. Yes, what is it? Asked Naruto impatiently. He knew this kid from previous classes but never have interacted with him. If there was any other situation Naruto would gladly socialized with his peers because despite being decides to serious he still want to have at least comrades, but now he had limited time to search for in the library. Hearing the impatience in his tone the boy growled, Dobi, what's the matter? Are you impatient for a beatdown? Maybe you should quit while you can, otherwise you'll be known as ninja dropout. And all others laughed at him. Naruto simply ignores all others and simply replied, how about you worry about yourself first? Your marks are not specifically good either, or you are trying to make yourself feel good. Dog breath. And went around him, not even waiting for a reply. He was wasting time. The boy snarled and lunged at Naruto behind his back, intent on showing the Dobi his place, but he wasn't ready for a quick counter. As soon as Naruto went just a few feet his newly developed instinct screamed for danger and he reacted instinctively. He quickly sidestepped to the left while turning his body slightly so that he was facing the boy and grabbed his outstretched hand and flipped him over to the floor with a thump while keeping the pressure on his chest by placing a knee on it. Naruto grabbed his face by his mouth and slammed his head into the ground and snarled, listen well Kiba, I don't care what you or anyone think of me, but keep your opinions to yourself and don't try to bully me. You won't like the result, and next time you try this I will go to your mother. With that he slammed his head again for good measures and stood up dusting his pants. All the while these were happening the students noticed something happening and came over there to watch the debacle. When the class at last slammed, all the present students' jaw unhinged because everyone knows that Naruto doesn't have any fineness and his taijutsu is shit, so they were astounded that how he can expertly handle Kiba, who was second in class for taijutsu. Naruto turned toward all the students while raising an eyebrow, but just realized he had taken attention to himself, so to keep up the act he pumped his fist in the air and yelled, take that dog breath, you can't compare to future Hokage. After hearing his usual declaration the students scoffed and went their way while muttering same old Dobi. Seeing his cost clear he hastily went to library. After entering the library he had hardly had 15 minutes to search for Fuinjutsu. He searched for 12 minutes continuously without stopping, but he can't find anything at all. Just as he was about to give up and got to the class his eyes landed on a shelf situated on the corner. It was covered in a huge amount of dust. He made his way towards it and saw that there is 10 scrolls placed and they also have huge dust covered on them. He took the first scroll from the shelf and opened it, and to his joy the title was Introduction to Fuinjutsu by He opened the scroll one by one and saw that they were all Fuinjutsu scroll but were marked from number 1 to 10. Seeing the dust, he knows that no one would miss them, so he took all of them and sealed them in his only sealing scroll and make his way to class. The rest of the day for him went exactly like the first part, boring, but one interesting thing he noticed, that unlike other teachers who either ignored him or punished him without any reason, Ziruka or Mizuki didn't do any of those things, and Diruka even answered a question of his. While he can clearly see dislike he had for him in his eyes, but he doesn't let it rule him. When classes was finished, Naruto make his was to Hokage's office. He had decided after thinking hard what to do with his relationship with the old man. He remembered his life up to the point when he met the kind old man. 20 Flashback 20. He was just kicked out of orphanage at an age of only 5 years. He survived for 6 months on his own by stealing from shops or eating wild. At first, when stealing, he regularly had gotten caught for 2 times for every 5 times and would get a severe beatings, but all of his wounds would just disappear on next day and he would ready to go again, and he noticed that next time it was taking just a little more for people to seriously wound him, and his pain tolerance was also increasing, although he was ignorant of this part. He also survived by eating fruits, berries, fish he caught from a nearby stream. This also helps him in survival exercise, which was a necessary skills for a ninja to have, which he had learned from overhearing a conversation somewhere near the academy. One day when was just finished cooking his caught fish over his self-made campfire, an old man came and sat near him and asked him what he is doing in the forest all by himself, and when Naruto informed us, for a small moment he saw extreme anger on the old man's face. From then on, that old man came to visit regularly, and together they would eat fish, and the old man would tell stories about him and several other people someone called Hokages. When asked who were they, he informed him that they are the leaders for this entire village. On the last day of that month, the old man took him and gave him a nice apartment to live in, since Naruto wanted to become ninja, also enrolled in the Ninja Academy. After that, for every once in a month, the old would give him money and then they would go to a nice ramen restaurant to eat. And on various occasions Naruto has seen people giving him the looks of disdain while giving the old man looks of admiration from all children while respect from adults. So one day somewhere between his first semester, he asked the reason for reactions of people to old man directly. Then he learns that the old man himself is a Hokage, specifically third Hokage, and from then on he decided that he would become Hokage so that everyone in the village would also recognize him. 20 Flashback and 20. Now that he thought about his increased durability, it was pretty obvious that there is something about that is not normal with him. Well, anyways, putting that aside, he thought what would have happened if the old Hokage would not have done the things he had done for him. He wasn't sure if he would ever get this apartment or he would be living on street forever. He was even not sure if he would be able to enroll in Ninja Academy as well. Due to all the thing the old Hokage did for him, Naruto had decided to give him a chance. So now Naruto was standing in front of Hokage's office after knocking and waiting to receive order to enter. 10 minutes earlier, an old man was just finishing his daily paperwork, all the while cursing himself of retaking this job. After finishing the workload, he took out his trusty pipe and put it in his mouth. This old man was over 68 to 69 years. He was wearing a white robe that has a thick red stripe in the middle, and he had a rather odd-shaped hat on his head. That was in a shape of a triangle. It was total red in color, but only a small portion is of white color, bearing a kanji of fire. The hat shadowed his face when tilted to the front. The hat had a symbolic meaning, and it was related to his title Hokage, which literally means fire shadow. The kanji on the front represent fire part, and the shadow created by the hat represents the shadow part. This was none other than Sundaime Hokage of Konoha Sarutobi Hiruzen, and he was chewing his tobacco pipe while thinking the changes about a certain blonde. He had a certain technique known as telescopic technique, which he used to watch over his village, but he uses more on Naruto to ensure that he was safe. Usually he would take his time from his schedule to have lunch or dinner with him to help him to get over his loneliness even a little, and every time barrage through his office doors to take him out for spending some time with him, but for the last 3 months he had not saw or heard anything about him. So obviously he was worried, and when he used his all-seeing jutsu, he saw the whole debacle of Naruto and Kiba. He was shocked that Naruto can act like this aggressive, because despite his anger and false bravado, he has never been this aggressive towards anyone. He was contemplating that if it would be prudent to go to bottom of this when there was a knock on his office door and he gave the order to enter. The old man's eyes widened, see the object of his thought enter his office with a polite knock. He was so shocked his jaw gaped and the pipe fell out of his wooden mouth to the ground with a clack. Seeing the bewildered state of the old man, Naruto raises an eyebrow. "Why do you look like you saw a ghost, old man?" questioned a curious Naruto. "Well, you see, I was surprised you will enter my office without barging in," replied an embarrassed Hokage, having been caught off guard by a child no less. But he quickly changes the subject and asked, "What brings you here, Naruto?" P.S. Sandaime never called him Naruto-kun in anime. "Well, you see, about 3 months before I found out the reason why I was hated throughout my life, and also found out that the person whom I thought of like my grandpa knew it all along but didn't tell me," replied Naruto while glaring at the old man. Hearing that the old man was angry. "Who told you that?" It's an S rank secret punishable by death. Only you or me were exempted from it. Asked the Hokage furiously. No one told me. I overheard someone when I failed the academy. They were mocking me. I don't know any of them. But that was not the problem. Here Naruto took a breath and continued. The problem is you lied to me when I asked for the reason they hate me. For the last 3 months I was coming terms with it, and now I came here to see if you caring for me were real or this was act. Finished Naruto bitterly. Hearing the bitterness in the blonde tone, the Saiyan took off his hat and placed in the desk beside him. And I decided to implement the law of your status after seeing the reaction of general population when they were informed of your status on the day of your birth. Everyone was calling for your execution and prevent that, and to give you a chance of having a normal life I passed a new law that if anyone told your status in secret or in open they would be executed on the spot. I also added that no one should tell any of your generation of your status so that you can at least make some friends. And what would I have told you? That there was 100 feet big demon sealed inside your gut by Ondaime, and whose wish was to everyone see you as a hero by saving the village, but everyone despised you anyway. By the time he finished, the old man truly looked old, like there was several ton pressure upon his shoulder. Seeing the old man's pained expression and hearing the situation when the law was created, Naruto glares lessened, but he was still furious. Okay, you had good reason for not tell me anything, but you could have helped me more. You knew me before the academy and there was huge difference in personality after the first year. Did you know the reason of my change of personality came from the neglect of academy teachers? No one answered my questions, no one helped me anything, and even wrongly punished me for things I didn't do and banned me from having class. Due to this I gradually saw that no one would help me, so decided that I would get revenge by pranking them. No, you didn't know that, only told me to work harder, but if there isn't anything to work on, how can I work harder? By the end Naruto was huffing and puffing and out of breath, and there were also few tears leaked from his eyes which he hastily wiped away. He had promised himself he would never cry on his life. After catching his breath and collecting himself, Naruto continues, somewhat subdued voice. When that pranking and dead last personality became my mask, I didn't know. The feeling of being betrayed by the closest person to you in the whole world despite being it false shattered the mask and revert my personality as it was before I joined the academy. Then I decided that I still want to become Hokage, but I will not take any shortcut to it or use anyone as a sacrifice. During his mid-rant there were also small tears came through the old man's eyes, and hearing the negligence and ignorance of academy teachers of a subject pains his heart. He can somewhat understand Naruto's discrimination by the civilians. They didn't know anything about the sealing, but he would never thought that his shinobi would become blind by their perjuries and hatred of the blonde. I am truly sorry, Naruto, but I would everything in my power to ensure that you will get fair treatment by everyone, said the old Hokage in pity. I don't want your or anyone's pity, Gigi. No, from now on I will make my way to the Hokage seat. But if you want to help me, you can start by giving me all the money my parents left for me. Seeing the surprised expression and hesitance, he continued, don't act so surprised, Hokage Gigi. I know you knew my parent, but nor I care who they were or what they did at this time, but I realize that the money you give me comes from them because the council will not allow me any money in the hopes of that I will starve to death. So I want all the money left for me from my parents, finished Naruto in blunt tone. Okay, Naruto came to me sometime after next week and I will keep the money ready here. Now is there anything else I can help you with? Asked the old man. Can you please give me an address to a ninja essential store which will not kick me out by first chance they get? Asked Naruto, hoping that there would be such a store. In response the Hokage took out a paper and wrote an address and gave him. Go to that place, its owner is a retired veteran ninja, so he would not discriminate against you. That store has all the things required for a ninja, replied the old man with a smile. Finally finding a new shop where he can go to accept a Jiraku ramen, he softly smiled for the first time since the meeting and turned to the old man. Well, what are you waiting for, old man? I haven't of ramen with for 3 months. Let's go, shouted an excited blonde and dragged an chuckling Hokage with him. After eating his fill he said goodbye to the old man Hokage and went to his apartment. By the time he reached it was already time for Fuinjutsu studies. So freshens up and took out his storage scroll and unsealed all the scrolls he took from the library earlier the day. He observed that all the cloth upon which the scroll is created is dark blood red colored with a gold outline on the border. He opened the first scroll by dusting and cleaning it and began reading. First there was an introduction written and then the contents scroll. He began thinking whether to skip the introduction and go straight to contents or read through it. In the end he decided to read through it. Who knows, he may come to know something about the scroll. Introduction. I am writing this scroll in the hopes that someone would continue our family art. This is the most complex, time-consuming and dangerous art. My clan is now on the verge of extinction, so I have copied all the knowledge of this art in these scrolls. If anyone is reading this, I wish him/her best of luck on mastering this art and request to keep my clan's legacy alive. Fuinjutsu is a branch of ninja art which has no limitations. It can be used for making an explosive tag to a dimensional seal and only depends on the knowledge and seal creation mastery of the user. The level of mastery of Fuinjutsu is measured by levels of mastery of a person. The level starts from 1 to 10, for there is a scroll each level and each scroll has 3 books that are beginners, intermediate and master level books sealed inside them. To unseal the first book of first scroll you will only need to simply unseal like a storage scroll, but after that you have to complete a problem related to the previous book successfully with the allotted time to unseal the next volume of book. If you have learned all the books from the level 1 scroll and successfully performed the required task, then you will have become level 1 seal master and so on. He opened the first scroll and began reading. First scroll contains 361 symbols which represent all 361 chakra points in our chakra circulation system which are used to create any technique. Like in ninjutsu which has 12 hand seal and different combination gives us different result. Similarly in Fuinjutsu we use all the symbols associated for each and every tenketsu to perform impossible feats. To complete the first book of this scroll you would have to first completely understand the function of every single chakra points and be able to write it flawlessly in one stroke. After reading he began an gruesome process of understanding the art known as Fuinjutsu. After 2 hours he closed the book he was reading and let out a huge sigh and massaged his temple. He was only able to learn and completely understand about 10 symbols and can only write 5 flawlessly in one stroke. He sighed. He had thought he would have made a little more progress, but oh well, it's a difficult art. It will be time-taking but it will be worth it. After dinner he began thinking about the new scrolls which can help him to progress his training he had found when he was searching for things related to Fuinjutsu. He had found a chakra control scroll and a scroll containing camping 5. He had checked it previously and found that it contained 5 exercise and all of these were essential for a ninja to fight efficiently in any conditions: vertical surface walking, unstable surface walking, slippery vertical surface walking, internal chakra manipulation and external chakra expulsion. The second scroll he had taken contains detailed explanation of 5 jutsu. These jutsu are merely E-ranked jutsu taught to willing academy students. These are pretty useless in combat but it's very useful in survival in will. These were specifically created in such a way that anyone can learn them. They required only 1 hand seal and to focus a bit of chakra. They were also known as camping 5. First one is a fire/katan technique which is used to light a campfire. It was made by simply making a tiger, Tora, hand seal while simultaneously channeling chakra in one's mouth and blowing towards the required direction. This is the very basic every fire or katan technique. But it doesn't mean that ones can simply make large katan jutsu just by adding more chakra, but it is a good way for anyone to feel the katan nature chakra. Second is an earth/dodan technique which is used to soften the land in which you have decided to make camp. It can also be used to bury small things as well as to wipe out any evidence of your presence in that area. It can be performed either by making tiger, Tora, hand seal or snake, me, hand seal and channeling chakra to the ground by touching it through your hand. Third is light technique which uses electric/raten technique and it help in lighting the dark place such as cave. It can be performed by making snake, me, hand seal and expelling that build up chakra through palm of your hand. Fourth is simply used to blow away any lightweight garbage scattered across the field and it requires the user to perform bird, tori, hand seal and simply blow air the mouth without channeling any chakra in mouth. Fifth one is most essential and life-saving one. It can help in keeping you alive by providing water anywhere except most dry places like desert. It was performed by using dog, inu, hand seal and using one's chakra to draw out water out of things like trees, leaf or even ground by channeling chakra through that thing then sucking out your chakra. He thought by learning these tricks would help him in the long run when he would learn more complex elemental technique. He had always wanted to be able to create a large fireball. On the matter of getting advancing taijutsu, he knew that the academic taijutsu usually used for foundation to learn more advanced taijutsu and he had thought about asking Old Man Hokage to give him advanced taijutsu scrolls but decided against it. He had made up his mind that first he would master his academic taijutsu till they became instinct, then he would sneak into the ninja library to get it. He also wanted to find a way to contact Kyuubi. He wants to know that what everyone knows about Kyuubi being just a natural disaster that didn't have any consciousness or like him no one had attempted to know him. And if it had any sentient then why did he attack Konoha? He had many questions but no answers. Ultimately he decides to just keep it in back of his mind and worry about it later. With that he let fatigue of this day overtook him to dreamland. Chapter 3, Graduation Exam. It has been 12 months since Naruto had started his training without relying on anyone and he is pleased with his progress. In academy he continues to act his part and playing pranks. He had also gotten close to the Old Man Hokage and would always spend his time with him on Sundays and pestered him to learn more about being a Hokage. After his consistent pestering the old man wilted and began teaching him not anything important or any techniques but topics which are essential to the position such as diplomacy, politics etc. The old man had also taught him how to review a document, again nothing important or classified, just document related to D-ranked and C-ranked mission. That day Naruto's dream of rescuing Princess went right out of the window. When he complained about the chores that newly minted Genin were required to do in the name of the mission to the old man, he learned that every new Genin were assembled in a team of 3 Genin and 1 Jonin sensei, and the D-ranked missions are to help them get them a gist of higher ranking mission. Hearing the logic, he grumbled something about all-knowing old man. He said goodbye to Hokage, leaving an amused Hiruzen. Another good thing happened, that his homeroom teacher Iruka had warmed up to him and he no longer had that look like rest of the villagers. Naruto was eating at the Ichiraku Ramen on a Sunday and Iruka also present there as well, and the teacher decided to get to know more about the demon brat. Iruka had heard from almost every teacher at the academy that he was a menace and always causing trouble, so he was a bit apprehensive when the Hokage had informed him that he was to be his homeroom teacher, but as the time passes and he observes him, he was not that bad. Sure, he played pranks from time to time, but it was not on the level he had heard from others. So he realizes that he was no demon but a lonely boy wanting to be recognized. From that point he was waiting for the opportunity to get to know him more but hadn't gotten any, so when he saw him enter the ramen stand he decided to take the first step to know the boy. He had learned that he was not allowed in any other establishment, so he always ate ramen. He had also taken to treat him twice a week. Seeing the change in behavior of Iruka's towards him gave him hope that maybe someday everyone will also change. Now Naruto was in academy waiting for the practical portion of the graduation exam to start. Today was the graduation exam, and like his plan he had completed the written exam with just passable grades. He had planned to show some improvements in taijutsu and shuriken jutsu but can't decide how much he should reveal. Deciding to think about it at the time of his turn, he began thinking about his training. He had become expert in meditating now. It took only 5 minutes to enter meditative state, and he can remain in meditative state for 2 hours if there wasn't any outside interference. Due to his regular meditation on the start of 6th month of his training, he had developed chakra sensing capability. After that he had sneaked into the ninja library with all the skill he had in stealth and copied all the information library had on the sensor ninja. When Naruto was raiding the ninja library for sensing related, he had found some scroll of taijutsu. Due to his haste at the time he had simply took them for future reference. His meditation also increased his spiritual energy, and that in turn increased his chakra control. On top of that, at the start of 4th month he had started vertical surface climbing exercise. It's an exercise which requires a ninja to channel precise amount of chakra to the soles of his feet and manipulate the said chakra to act like a suction, which will help a person to stand or fight on a vertical surface. If a ninja uses less chakra, the foot will not stick, or if he uses more that required, he will repelled from the surface. It took him 10 days to be able to successfully perform the exercise. He had used the largest tree present in the clearing for better results, but he noticed that even a lapse of concentration caused him to slip, and he realizes that it could be very critical in life-threatening battle. So he uses next 10 days to master it in such a degree that he can now walk on tree as easily as he was on solid ground. After that came unstable surface walking. This exercise will help a ninja to be stable on any surface, be it water, snow, sand, mud, and even when the ground is shaking. The most difficult place to maintain balance is on the surface of water. So this exercise is also known as water walking exercise. Like its predecessor, this also requires a ninja to not only channel precise amount of chakra but also to constantly channel that amount on the surface of water. The amount of the chakra required depends on weight of a person and depth of the water. This is performed by channeling the chakra directly to the surface of water to raise its surface tension, which enables the ninja to stand of water. This only took 5 days for Naruto to stand on water surface steadily, then another 10 days for him to master it to become instinct. Then to make it more difficult he combined the leaf spinning exercise with water walking. This was very hard because in this he had divided his concentrate on each fingers for leaf spinning and threw his feet to the surface of water simultaneously. Due to its difficulty it took him 2 months to complete this exercise, but it was worth it, and by the time he had mastered this, chakra control increased tremendously. After that came kunai balancing and senbon balancing. Both the exercise has different purpose. Kunai balancing require more amount of chakra than leaf, and senbon balancing require same amount of chakra, but it also required for all the chakra to be compressed to a single point where the tip of senbon is said to balance. Due to the similarity of these exercises to his modified leaf exercise, it took him only a month each to complete it and combine it with water walking. After completely mastering Academy Taijutsu style, Naruto began thinking of ways to further improve his taijutsu, and suddenly he remembered the scroll he had found in the library. He had taken 6 scrolls which contains 3 fighting style total, that means 2 scrolls for each style. The taijutsu styles were Snake Fist style / Heavy Ken, Hard Fist style / Go-Ken, and Gama-Ken. The Snake Fist style generally revolves around dodging opponents' blows and attacking weak points of the human body such as joints, eyes etc. One scroll contains basic exercise to increase one's flexibility naturally, and second contains taijutsu katas and information of various places in body to channel chakra to increase body's flexibility temporarily. It took Naruto 3 months to increase his flexibility, learn all the katas mentioned in the scroll. The Goken style is generally based on high-speed movement to get inside opponent's guard and attack with hard blows with probability to break bones. Similarly, one scroll contains exercise to strengthen bones in one's fist, elbows and knees. It also had ways to increase natural speed. Second scroll contains taijutsu katas as well as ways to channel chakra to increase speed and reaction time and to increase strength of the blows. It also took him 3 months to become proficient in it. The Gamaken or Toad Fist style revolves mainly around defense and counter-attack. Like the previous ones, this one also contains various exercise to increase endurance and how to counter-attack. Second scroll contains katas and how to channel chakra through your body to increase body's defense. It also took him 3 months to become proficient in it. Although he had learned all the taijutsu styles, but he isn't even close to master them, and his aim is to combine them and make his own taijutsu style, and he knew that he had long time before was he anywhere near to that level of mastery. He had also succeeded in channeling chakra without using katas as mentioned in the scroll, but he isn't able to do both. He would estimate his taijutsu to be at high genin level to low chunin level. He would have mid-chunin to high-chunin taijutsu, but due to lack of sparring partner he was just at high Jinan level. He had also increased his proficiency in throwing kunai and shuriken, and for the last 3 months he had started practicing in throwing senbon, in which he was only average at best, and out of all throwing weapons senbon is the most difficult one. Now he had perfect aim for kunai and shuriken throwing from 100 meters, be it while moving or staying still. In senbon he had perfect aim up to 25 meters. While all the things Naruto has been working on had improved immensely, but his improvement in Funjutsu is on whole other level. He had completely mastered 7 scrolls, that 21 books of Fuinjutsu in only 9 months. It was quite different from other thing he had learned, where in all other subject he had stated to see his increase in progress in only 2 to 3 days time. In Fuinjutsu he doesn't start to see any development at all till he was halfway to the second scroll. It had taken him 2 months to complete the first scroll, which required knowing all the symbols used Fuinjutsu and to draw them flawlessly as fast as possible and in single stroke. It had also information on how to connect any 2 or 3 symbols with each other and write them flawlessly. The second scroll demonstrate different arrays in which different symbols are drawn to create a Fuinjutsu formula, which is also known as technique formula, Jutsu Shiki. It also had 1 test of each book to create an array for explosive tag, flash tag and storage scroll. It took him 1 month 20 days to complete it. Next 2 scrolls had also contains progressively advanced arrays, and they also had tests to create higher grade explosive tag, flash tag and storage scroll for both of them. They also contain explanation to various other seals like reinforcement seals, paralysis seal, chakra disruptor seal, chakra absorption seal etc. This took him 1 month each. Next 2 of the scrolls shows ways on how to learn components of any seals and make it yourself. This also contains seals such as gravity seals, weight seal, resistance seals etc. He had successfully learned all the seals components and created his own. After reading the description he realized that they can help him in his body conditioning, but he had decided to not take any risk of applying seals on his body, and he also had to maintain balance of his physical energy and spiritual energy, and even after training chakra control for 10 months he had yet to achieve perfect control over his chakra. So if was to apply seal now he would again increase his physical energy, and all the months of hard work in chakra control will be for naught. Next scroll contains Fuinjutsu used as barrier ninjutsu. Barrier ninjutsu, Kekai ninjutsu, literally means barrier ninja techniques, is the incorporation of barriers into techniques. Essentially these techniques allow the users to manipulate barriers. The user can erect barriers that can be used to protect themselves, or to trap an opponent, amongst other various uses. The scroll also explains various barrier ninjutsu and how to create and implement them. He had just completed 7th scroll and started on 8th, which deals in another branch of ninja techniques which requires space and time manipulation. Space-time ninjutsu, Jikuken ninjutsu, teleportation ninjutsu or transportation techniques, are techniques that allow the users to manipulate the space-time continuum. From all the scrolls this is the largest one, and according to the scroll probably also most difficult one. Naruto also had wanted to learn Bojutsu, Kenjutsu and Iryo ninjutsu, but he hadn't gotten any time for them. Even when his studies of Fuinjutsu became time-consuming he had taken the scroll to read in the academy. He had also learned various basic things like how to survive in the wild, how to track someone by looking for trail. While he was not good at it, but he wasn't bad at it either, and his developing chakra sensing also helped him in this regard. How to erase his presence, and had learned all the basic elemental ninjutsu. Yesterday before he went to sleep Naruto had opened the first scroll he had ever read to check on his chakra capacity and reserve. After 5 hours of channeling chakra through the scroll, he had decided to study the seal used in it and try modify it to create in such a way that it would instantly show results. Putting the seal creation thoughts aside, he looked at his stats. Chakra capacity, 32,400 low special jonin mid special jonin, chakra reserve, 36,000 special jonin mid special jonin, and the ratio of his physical energy to his spiritual energy is 1.11. He was just on the verge of attaining perfect chakra control. Although he had set his goal to attain it within Academy, he was quite content with it. So now he was sitting in the classroom waiting for all the students and the starts of the exam. He had already decided that he would ace this exam, although it would not affect his overall score because the total score is based on a person's performance whole time he or she had in Academy. After some time, students began entering the room and took their respective sits and began discussion between them. Naruto began discreetly study them. As the number of students increases, the noise also increases in the room, and after 10 minutes Iruka-sensei along with Mizuki-sensei. Seeing no one paying attention, Iruka yelled with his famous big head jutsu, "Shut up brats and listen." Seeing all of the students paying attention, Iruka sighed, "Good morning everyone, today is ninja graduation exam, have to pass 3 tests, a written test, a jutsu test, and a physical test. The written test covers the knowledge they were taught over the last 6 years. The physical test involves taijutsu spars and sugujutsu, shuriken and kunai throwing, accuracy tests. The final test is a jutsu test covering the basic 3 jutsu of henge, kawarimi, and bunshin. It is possible to graduate with only passing 2 of the tests, though it would require near perfects on those 2 tests, and sometimes waivers are granted regarding a test. If we caught you trying to cheat at any time, we will fail you, no question asked," ordered Iruka sternly. After receiving the paper, Naruto sweated slightly. Even when he was smart now, as he led on theoretical portion of exam has always been bad. To his relief, the questions were easy, like name all the Hokages and their order. Another question consists of history of Konoha, geography of various countries, etc. He finished them in 30 minutes and began observing others. After written test, 2 teachers lead all the students to Academy Training Ground. Academy Training Ground is simple ground which contains several wooden posts on one side where the students practice their shuriken and kunai throwing. In the center there was large empty space with a large circle drawn across it, where taijutsu spar take place. All of them went to throwing weapon range and upon instructions began to form a line in the alphabetical order of their names. Since his name starts with U, he was last jutsu after a duck-ass hairstyled boy. This is a boy named Uchiha Sasuke, hailed as once a generation prodigy. He is the last loyal Uchiha left in the village. What had happened Naruto did not know or particular care, because Uchiha were his majority tormentors in his younger year. So when he heard that all of them were killed in a way, he was, he dare say, happy. But when he went to Academy next day, he had whispered conversation from other students that only he was left alive, and he realized that like him he had found another who was all alone and thought that everyone will also look him with those cold eyes, but its opposite happens. Everyone sympathizes with him and fulfill all his needs, and as a result he became arrogant and brutal, who thought just because he is an Uchiha he can do anything and demand anything from anyone. Naruto, seeing Sasuke getting recognition he wanted without doing anything for it, he became jealous and silently declared himself as his rival. From then on he would try to compete with him on everything in the hopes of getting his acknowledgement. He thought that if he would get a guy who is acknowledged by all others, then the villagers will also have to acknowledge him. But when he decided to focus on training seriously, he saw how naive he was thinking like that. So now he doesn't even glance at his way when he had scored 9/10 in kunai throwing and 10/10 in shuriken throwing. This was the highest score of today's test. "Uzumaki Naruto," called Mizuki loudly. Naruto snapped out of his thoughts when he heard his name being called by Mizuki-sensei. He went to the front, ignoring whispers of students mocking him dead last, and waited for the instructions from Mizuki. "Now you will get 10 of each weapon and you have to throw them from a minimum distance of 30 meters. Minimum score required for passing is 4/10 in kunai and 5/10 in shuriken." Mizuki informed Naruto neutrally and gave him the weapons. Naruto took a deep breath and went into the standard throwing stance, and just as he was about to throw them when he noticed the condition of them. They were very worn out and it was impossible to aim with them with a standard throw that the entire academy students learn. He noticed slight smug expression on Mizuki's face and the corner of his eyes and cursed his luck for having to show everyone some of his skill. Naruto sighed and went out of his stance. Seeing the hesitation on dead last face, all the students began mocking him. "What's the matter, dead last? Forgot how to throw them? You should quite while you have some dignity left." Mocked Kiba and many others also said similar statement to mock him. Just when Mizuki was about to reprimand Naruto for taking so long to complete a simple exercise, He bit his tongue when Naruto jumped approximately 10 feet in the air in the blink of an eye and was holding 5 kunai in his left hand and 5 shuriken in right hand. Between each of his fingers he twirled a little in air for extra force, and with a flick of his wrists he threw all of them at the same time. Mizuki's gaze went towards the target, wanting to see if any of them hit any. His and along with everyone's present jaw dropped in disbelief seeing the dead last perform such maneuver and performance. Naruto landed gracefully, and hearing odd whispered conversation and seeing slack-jawed response from everyone, he inwardly smirked and passed by them without saying anything to them. This also baffled everyone present because normally Naruto would have boasted about his ability and rub at everyone, especially Sasuke. Then everyone remembered that since the start of this day no one had heard him say anything, and he was also acting way too calm even in the time of written exam. But in the end most of them chalk it up to the Naruto being lucky. However, Naruto noticed he eyed 3 boys who did not everyone dismissed it as luck. These are the 3 boys who were thinking about deeply. From them 2 of them were thinking what brought the change in the resident blonde prankster. They were Nara Shikamaru, who although lazy is one of the most intelligent boys in the village and it's a trait of his clan, and he is looking at blonde like he was trying to solve a puzzle. Other is Aburame Shino, who hailed from Aburame clan, who uses their body to store insect and feed them their own chakra and in turn use them for various ninja technique. He was a quiet boy and always thinks logically. He was merely curious about him. Last one was glaring daggers at blonde and jealously and barely concealed rage. Uchiha Sasuke hailed from the infamous Uchiha clan, and his reasons of jealousy and rage because seeing Dobi's fluency in shuriken jutsu his mind flashed back to his childhood when he had watched the man who he admired the most at the time performing something similar, although similar is quite a stretch. That person was his older brother and the killer of entire Uchiha clan. He was wondering where the dead last has learned to throw them that way. Naruto was somewhat weary of hate radiating from Sasuke's face, but in the end decided to ignore as it was not his problem. Seeing Iruka and Mizuki were still seeing him with disbelief expression on their faces, Naruto became slightly annoyed, like they were not expecting him to improve at all. "Come on, what are you all doing standing there? There is still taijutsu portion of test to be performed," said Naruto with a twitching eyebrow. His voice snapped out. All of them formed their stupor and they hurried to sparring area. The taijutsu rule is that everyone will get to fight 2 times, and to pass one must defeat their opponent at least once, and anyone who loses 2 times would fail this portion of exam. Like previous tests, these were also performed in alphabetic order. Now only 1 match was remaining, and all the students had fought their 2 matches and won 1 match each with the exception of Sasuke and Naruto. The last match was between them. On the sidelines all the ninja hopeful had their full attention on this match, and despite Naruto's performances in shuriken jutsu they all thought that he had no chance in Sasuke, as he was best in taijutsu in the class and hadn't been defeated yet. Last match of the taijutsu exam, Uzumaki Naruto vs Uchiha Sasuke, declared Iruka while inwardly wishing the blonde good luck. On side Mizuki waited in hidden glee to watch the demon brat got plummeted in his place by Uchiha. When Naruto heard his opponents he cursed his luck and sighed audibly. No matter how much he tried to hide his skills for the last day, his luck seemed to become worse, and with Sasuke he would have to fight seriously because say what you will about Sasuke, his clan taijutsu is very good. He looked up and saw Sasuke was already and waiting for him with his hands stuffed in his pocket in a cool pose which made his fangirls swoon. He sighed for the last time and slouched towards the ring and entered it with a frown on his face. "What's the matter, Dobi? Why the long face? Don't worry, I won't beat you too badly," arrogantly said Sasuke. Up to this point Naruto was contemplating to lose the match, but hearing the smugness and arrogance he decided to show Uchiha his place and went into his stance by slightly slouched forward and bent his knees slightly and letting his arms hang loosely. This was the opening stance of Heavy Ken style. Seeing both are ready, Iruka announces this will be full contact fight with no time limit and no killing or maiming shots are allowed. "Are both of you ready?" asked Iruka, and seeing them nod he bring his hands down. Begin. For some time none of them move, and when Naruto was about to start he halted seeing Sasuke was saying something. "Dobi, where did you learn to throw kunai and shuriken like that?" demanded Uchiha. Naruto raises an eyebrow wondering why he was asking that now in the middle of the fight, but nonetheless shrugged and answered nonchalantly, "Practice." Seeing the dead last not taking him seriously, pissed of Sasuke, he snarled and lunged forward, and Sasuke rushed Naruto with chakra-enhanced speed shouting, "Here I come, Dobe." Naruto just focused on keeping his body loose and ready. Sasuke had thrown a left jab to test Naruto and gauge his defense. Naruto slapped away the punch with his left hand, then stepped inside. Naruto tries to backhand Sasuke's skull, but it was dodged by a small backstep. Sasuke taking advantage, throwing a roundhouse kick, but his attack was blocked again by Naruto's left hand. The Dobi's defense has improved to some degree. Let's see how he handles my speed. Sasuke proceeded to unleash a barrage of combinations of punches, kicks, and elbows at his full speed. Naruto tightened his guard seeing the incoming assault. Naruto blocks only with his left hand, and sidesteps every attack Sasuke had thrown. Sasuke is getting infuriated because he can't land a hit on Naruto. There is no way in hell the Dobi can be this good. Damn him, some months ago he couldn't even throw a proper punch, and now he is fighting like a born natural. As Sasuke tried to push inside to land a hit, he was hit hard by a stiff jab to the mouth. The Uchiha had to take a couple of steps back, wiping the blood away from his busted lip. First blood Sasuke. Sasuke scowled and shouted, "Be happy that's all you are going to get, Dobi." Sasuke continued his charge with his chakra-enhanced speed. Sasuke is struggling, only being able to graze Naruto, never a solid connection. Sasuke roared, throwing a wide right hand that was quickly deflected and countered by a swift side kick to the midsection. Jumping back, Sasuke shouted, "How damn it, how you can be this good? No way in hell you can be beating me." Naruto again with nonchalance said, "Practice, Sasuke, practice." Sasuke roared in anger and charged Naruto with killing intent. Sasuke came rushing towards Naruto, throwing a right cross and a left hook. Naruto ducked under the cross and used an open palm to deflect the hook to force Sasuke off balance. Naruto bent his knees slightly more and stepped inside his guard and unleashed a devastating uppercut, and Naruto's fist connected with Sasuke's chin, sending Sasuke flying several feet in the air, then hitting the ground with a hard thud out cold. Naruto with right fist still high in the air from the attack he just unleashed. Winner Naruto. Total silence ensured in the academy field. Naruto took a breath and lowered his fist and calmly went inside the classroom. After some time everyone came inside and all of them were sending Naruto where he looks. Iruka awkwardly coughed and announced, "Next section consists of ninjutsu and genjutsu. You all will be called to next room in same alphabetical order, and after you finish come to this room and wait for all the students to complete them." Iruka informed them and went inside adjacent room with Mizuki. One by one student went and came to the room, some with happy expression with a headband and some with dejected expression. Finally it was Naruto's turn. He went to the room and began studying the room. It was of the same size of the classroom, but it doesn't contain the desk where students sit, that's why it looks bigger than it actually was. There was a table at one side of the room and both Iruka and Mizuki were sitting behind that table. "Well Naruto, you are last one, so let's get started. You have to 3 basic jutsu in order to pass, is that clear?" Informed Iruka, and seeing Naruto's nod he continues, "So first do a henge, transformation." Naruto went to center of the room, performed the required hand seals and uttered henge no jutsu. There was a puff of smoke which covered Naruto, and when it cleared, in place of Naruto stood Sandaime Hokage with his trusty pipe. Iruka went to him and began inspecting of any mistake. When he didn't find anything he gave Blonde a smile. "Your henge perfect, Naruto," Iruka said to him while smiling with pride. "Okay, next up is Kawarimi." Again Naruto performed the hand seals but didn't say the jutsu name and replaced himself with a chair placed in the corner. "Okay Naruto, last one is Banshin no Jutsu. If you performed it successfully then it will be highest mark of this test. Even if you can't perform it then you can pass, but your mark will be affected," Iruka informed Naruto. After thinking for a few moments Naruto decides to deliberately fail in it. This will help him keep in low profile, and he still couldn't perform Banshin perfectly due to his chakra capacity. He can make Banshin 50% of time and other time they were half dead. Naruto began gathering huge amount of chakra, more than normally required for it, and yelled Banshin no Jutsu. And as a result 3 deformed clones formed around him. All of the clones can't even stand and fall to the ground. Naruto rubbed his neck and grinned sheepishly. Iruka and Mizuki sweat dropped at the pathetic display of Banshin, and Iruka sighed in disappointment before smiling. "Well, despite having to fail to create Banshin, you passed because your skill are on required level. You have scored second highest on theory and it's very close to first place. You have scored highest score in Shuriken Jutsu. You have bested top student among your peers on a taijutsu spar, and lastly your other 2 jutsu were perfect. So you passed," informed Iruka to the blonde with a smile, but sees Naruto is shaking and became concerned as he was about to ask him if everything is alright. "Alright, finally," shouted Naruto and pumps his fist in air. Although he had made up his mind to take everything seriously, he couldn't contain his excitement of finally passing the damn exam. He gleefully took his headband from the table, gave Iruka-sensei a hug and went to celebrate. Just as he was about to leave, Iruka shouted, "Don't forget to come to academy next week for team placement." Naruto waved to Iruka signaling that he heard him and continue on his way. Naruto went outside the academy and became depressed when he saw everyone's parent had came to congratulate them on job well done, and those who didn't pass being comforted by them. On seeing him the usual whispers began, but he ignored them and went to sit on a swing present just outside the academy to observe the parents and student interact and to understand them. After 15 minutes of sitting there, as he was about to leave, a shadow covered him from above. He looked up to the smiling visage of his academy teacher Mizuki. He instantly became weary of the man. During his tenure in Academy on last year the man had never smiled at him, so seeing the same smiling at him now just after graduation is suspicious. Naruto decides to see what the teacher wants to say to be polite and asked. "What is it, Mizuki-sensei? Do you need me for something?" "This is a secret matter, Naruto, which is related to your career," Mizuki said kindly and grabs his shoulder and disappears from them. What none of them noticed is that they were being discreetly watched by Sandaime. Chapter 4, Forbidden Scroll and First Mission. A shadowy figure is seen leaping from tree to tree at quite fast pace. He is wearing a black pant, black shirt, his hair is covered in black bandana and he is wearing a mask which covers his whole face. He seems to carrying a large cylindrical object horizontally on his back. After leaping few times he lands in a clearing. The clearing is quite large and there is a large shack at the end. The figure took of the cylindrical object from his back and it became clear that it was a large scroll. He took of his bandana and reveals his golden yellow hair and clear blue eyes. The blonde boy is Uzumaki Naruto and the large scroll is Forbidden Scroll of Seals, which he had just stolen from Hokage's office. For a place of maximum security it was quite easy to take it. Seeing the scroll Naruto couldn't help but remember what Mizuki said to him just after the graduation exam. 20 Flashback earlier that day. 20. You know Naruto, just after you exited from the class Iruka and me decides to tally you score and we came to realize that if you would have successfully made the bunshine then not only you would have aced this test but you would have gotten Rookie of the Year title regardless of your previous performance. Mizuki informed him sincerely. Hearing this Naruto's eyes widened and asked, "Really, Mizuki-sensei?" But then his face fell. "But what is the point of it now? I already failed to perform bunshine," replied a dejected Naruto. Seeing the dejected expression Mizuki sighed. "Oh, looks like I have no choice. I will tell you secret," Mizuki told Naruto smiling warmly. What Mizuki-sensei? Please tell me what secret?" asked an eager Naruto bouncing on his foot in excitement by the thought of becoming Rookie of Year. Mizuki chuckled at his enthusiasm. "Calm down, Naruto. This a makeup tests for someone who had failed graduation exam 3 times and if you have failed this time also you would also get this exam like a chance to pass." "But how come no one knows about it, Mizuki-sensei?" asked a confused Naruto scratching his back of his head. From what he know there is no such exam, but here Mizuki was telling him there was such an exam. Mizuki became nervous inwardly but doesn't let it show on his face. Well, if everyone knew about it before then a person who had failed the exam 2 times would not work hard for 3rd time in the hope of passing the makeup test. Seeing the blonde believed him, Mizuki pats his back for making such believable story on the spot. "Oh, okay, Mizuki-sensei, what is the test consists of?" Naruto asked, wanting to know if he would be able to decide whether to perform the test or just let it be. "This test will be particularly easy for you seeing you have quite good stealth. There is a big scroll at the Hokage Tower in the Hokage's office, you just have to take it without alerting anyone present there and went to this place," Mizuki informed Naruto smile and gave him a slip of paper on which the place of rendezvous was written. Just when Naruto was willing to give his all for the test he heard the term Forbidden Scroll. He stiffened and his eyes widened, but thankfully Mizuki didn't notice. He stared at Mizuki's face for any kind of deception but found none, so he gave man a nod and pocketed the slip in his pocket and went towards his apartment, his celebration forgotten. All the while on his way to his way he was thinking about the legitimacy of Mizuki's test. He knows from the Sandaime Ji-chan what Forbidden Scroll contains, so he was skeptical about the test. It was highly unlikely that such an important thing will be used in Nugenen's graduation exam, but on the other hand the reason Mizuki gave also sound valid and he isn't able to find any deception on his face, but he knew that for a Chunin lying to a Jonan on top of newly graduated Jonan is child's play. So there was a possibility that he just wasn't able to locate it on Mizuki's face. He looked up when he reaches his apartment. He looked towards the Hokage Tower and decided that he would take the scroll, but if he would make a backup plan in case Mizuki was lying. On top of that he would be able to learn high-level techniques from the scroll. 20 Flashback and 20. So he snuck into the tower and stole the scroll and no one knew. Seeing he still had 2.5 hours before the time Mizuki allotted to meet him, he opens the Forbidden Scroll and began reading. The scroll contained only forbidden techniques which are forbidden for large chakra requirements, sacrifice requirements or even death. The first techniques he saw is a cloning technique and its requirement is only large chakra capacity and reserve. Taiju Cage Bunshine is an A rank technique which is developed by Nidaime Hokage Senju Tobirama for infiltration purpose. In this technique user creates several solid clone which can also interacts with surrounding like original and has its separate thoughts. For an inexperienced user all the clone contains only a proportion of chakra capacity of the user and it was equally divided by the user and clones. It can be easily dispelled by a single blow. Main plus point of this type of clones is if a clone dispelled be it by a hit, by user, or the clone dismissed himself, then the remaining chakra and the experiences of the clone will return to the original and it will feel like the user himself experienced them. This technique is a forbidden version of Kage Bunshin, which is a B rank Jonin level technique. To perform Taijutsu Kage Bunshin, user is required to perform Ram hand seals 3 times to complete focus all of his chakra throughout his whole chakra coils, and then used a special cross-shaped hand seal to divide the chakra equally in desired number of clones, then expel them from Tenketsu. Though that cross hand seal while imagining yourself like performing the regular Bunshin, the expelled chakra will automatically condense and will take your form. All the clones formed will obey you without question. Usually when a new clone's formed, they will be formed behind you or beside you. But you can make clones anywhere you want by mastering it. This technique is forbidden because it required at least high Jonin chakra reserve, and when more clone dispelled, the memory influx has the possibility of damaging brain dew and possibly death. After reading all of it, Naruto began practicing. It took him few tries to successfully channel chakra throughout his whole chakra coils. After that he began practicing to divide that amount of chakra equally by 2 for 2 clones. Then he practiced to concentrate all of that chakra to the cross-hand seal and finally expelling the said chakra. The imagining process is pretty easy because of its similarity to regular Bunshin. It took him half an hour to successfully create 2 clones. After successfully performed the first exercise, he ordered the 2 clones to copy the techniques from the scroll which they thought would help him, but only technique which are forbidden due to chakra reserve and capacity. After that he began practice to increase the number of clones from 2 to 4, 4 to 8, from 8 to 16 and so on. For each successful tries he would double the amount of clones, and as time passes the time in each successful try is also lessened greatly, and by the time 2 hours has passed he can create somewhere between 150 to 200 clones in a second. When Naruto saw that it was time for Mizuki to come, he dispels all the recent clones and told the scroll copying clone to create a perimeter. After receiving the order, 2 clones went a little further into the forest. One went to the way which Naruto first came from and another went to opposite side. Their job was simple: if anyone other than Mizuki appears, they were to detain them from interfering with anything that would happen with real Naruto. The original creates another clone which took his place and he went to hide nearby to play safe. As soon as Mizuki appears, the clone Naruto who had gone to the direction Naruto first came here sees him first and quietly creates another clone and disperses it. Naruto was wondering where the hell is Mizuki and was about to return to village when the memory of the clone came to him and he readied himself. He then signals his clone present and clearing to be ready and began the act. While Naruto for the 2.5 hours was learning new technique, the whole village is on alert. The news of someone has stolen forbidden scroll has spread like wildfire. Only handful of ninja were informed by the Hokage that it was Naruto who stole the scroll, and all of them were ordered to not to cause any harm if they capture him. Among all of the other ninjas, only Iruka knew Naruto is the one who stole the scroll, but he wasn't informed by the Hokage but Mizuki instead. When he was sleeping there was a knock on his door, and when he opened it he saw Mizuki-sensei breathing ragged and an anxious expression on his face. Mizuki informed that Naruto had stolen the forbidden scroll. So now he was frantically searching for any sign of blonde-haired idiot. He knew that if anyone other than him found him first, then they will probably try to kill him due to his condition. After searching for approximately 2 hours, the trail led him to deep within the forest surrounding Konoha. He hastily made his way in hopes of finally finding Naruto and gave him an earful. After leaping from tree to tree for another half an hour, he saw a clearing with a shack just a little ahead from him, and there he saw the blonde sitting with his back against a tree clutching the scroll and breathing ragged. His orange jumpsuit is torn in several places and sweat was dripping from his brows. He decides to confront him and increased his speed to get to him faster, but just as he increased his speed, a hand clamped on his mouth from behind and a kunai is pressed onto his neck, causing him to stiffen and became alert. He craned his neck slightly to look who was holding him. But what he saw perplexed him. There was another Naruto covering his mouth in one hand and holding a kunai just touching his jugular, but this Naruto wasn't wearing his regular bright orange clothing but rather simple black shirt and pant. Iruka saw Naruto's eyes widen slightly, seeing him, and slowly remove his hand from his mouth and put a finger on his lips signaling silence. Seeing Iruka-sensei nod of understanding, Naruto removes the kunai from his throat. "What are you doing here, Iruka-sensei?" Naruto asked in a harsh whisper. Wanting to know why Iruka was here in his mind was also thinking, although not wanting to believe even the possibility of Iruka was in league with Mizuki. Iruka became angry hearing the question and tone from the blonde, and after the said blonde stole the scroll UIDIP. Began shouting, but it was cut off abruptly when Naruto tackled him to the ground, covering his mouth and again place a kunai in his throat. "Did I not told you to be silent?" Naruto whispered agitatedly. "Now I will release you and then we will talk, but please talk silently and answer few of my questions," Naruto said, and released and back away from him, seeing him nod. "Okay, now I will repeat the question. What are you doing here?" Naruto repeated his first question, but now calmly. In response, Iruka told him what is happening in the village and about Mizuki informing him of stealing a forbidden scroll. When Iruka told him the situation in the village, he expected Naruto to profusely apologize and told him that it was prank, but sweat dropped when Naruto, hearing this, face-palmed and mumbled something about idiot Chunin and asked in a deadpan tone, "Iruka-sensei, did you verify first what Mizuki-sensei told you, or as soon as you heard from his you started your search?" "Mizuki-sensei isn't your superior, and how would he know about me stealing the scroll, when I know Ji-chan would only inform Jonins of the classified information to prevent mass panic?" "Okay, what you said is true, but why would I have to verify Mizuki's information? He and I were friends for many years, and now I know that he wasn't lying, seeing you have stolen the scroll. Now what do you have to say for yourself? Do you know you could be in serious trouble for the stunt you have pulled?" asked Iruka anxiously. "Calm down, Iruka-sensei. Nothing will happen to me, and why would Mizuki-sensei know about it? And my reason for stealing the scroll is one and same. That is, Mizuki-sensei came to me just after I left the academy and told me about a test for me to become Rookie of the Year, and at first I didn't believe him, but he gave quite a good reason for me to believe the legitimacy of the test, and I had decided to complete it, but then I heard about Forbidden Scroll and became wary again, but then decided to fulfill it, and if any of this is a ruse of Mizuki, I will handle it with my new jutsu that I learned from the scroll," smirked Naruto confidently. But why Mizuki would lie to you about the test, and how did he know about the forbidden scroll?" stammered out Iruka. Asked, "What is the jutsu you learned from the scroll? They were dangerous, that's why they were in forbidden scroll, idiot." Emphasizing the forbidden word. Hearing the idiot comment, Naruto's brow twitched violently but let it slide. It would do no good if he were to lose temper here. "The technique I learned was Tajuo Kage Bunshine, and don't worry, only thing forbidden about is the chakra requirement." Naruto informed him he decided not to tell him or anyone about the others about experience transfer function of it. It will be a boon for him in training. "Anyway, I am just a Kage Bunshine, the real one is in the clearing ahead waiting for Mizuki, and the boss had ordered me to let no one interfere, so you will have to remain here and trust me, boss can handle himself, I know, because I am him after all." Naruto Clone finished with confidence. After hearing Clone's reasoning, both Iruka and Clone looked towards the clearing and waited for the Mizuki to arrive. Iruka was in disbelief that the person with whom he was talking with for quite some time was a clone, and what's more surprising is that a clone of Naruto who was often disregarded as idiot ninja or ninja with no talent can subdue him effortlessly 2 times. When Naruto, who was on the clearing, received the memories of the clone that had spotted Mizuki, he instantly transformed to look like he was wearing his orange jumpsuit. Just after 10 minutes, Mizuki landed in the clearing with a smile plastered on his face, but he was prepared like he was going to war. He was wearing his usual Chunin outfit, but on his back he had tied 2 large shuriken. For Mizuki, this day can't get any better, although the start of it wasn't that good. First, when the demon brat was able to pass the written exam, shuriken throwing and taijutsu exam, he didn't only pass but passed with excellent marks. He thought his master plan will fail before even it begun, but then everything went in his way when the brat failed to create Bunshine, and he thought of ways to slightly modify the plan. Now he was making his way to the rendezvous place where he had told the demon to meet after spreading the news of him stealing the forbidden scroll of seals. He reached the clearing where Naruto was waiting for him with a big grin on his face with a smile, seeing his plan was almost successful. "Naruto, give me the scroll, so that I can validate your mark by checking whether it is original or duplicate," Mizuki ordered Naruto with a smile. Mizuki saw Naruto nod and extend the scroll of him to take. He gleefully extend his hand to take it, but Naruto moves the scroll out of his reach by throwing somewhere behind him. "What are you doing, brat? Give me the scroll dead last," snarled Mizuki, but only saw an innocent expression on Blonde's face. So Mizuki tries to get past him to finally get the scroll. Just as Mizuki passed him, Naruto grabbed him by his shoulder tightly. "What did you think of me as Mizuki-sensei? That I couldn't possibly know that there was something fishy about this test?" Naruto asked calmly. "I knew there was something quite suspicious about this, but even then I decided to see what your plan is." When Mizuki heard Naruto, he began to curse as things just got more difficult with Naruto's suspicion, as this was not how he had planned things to go, as things had taken far longer than he had planned as well, where if he did not get away soon then more Konoha shinobis would arrive, or worse still, Anbu. "Naruto, give me the scroll, and I will tell you a law that everyone in this village knows but you, and it's directly related to you," said Mizuki, trying to reason with Naruto and getting the blonde to think is the law that Mizuki is talking about is related to Kyuubi. But what is his plan? Where is he planning to go to after this, and why an academy teacher suddenly decides to defect from the village? Let's continue to play full for a little bit longer till I figure out what he is planning. Seeing that Naruto was thinking about this, Mizuki realized that a golden opportunity had now presented itself to him and thought, if I can present not only the forbidden scroll, but also convince Demon Brat and bring both of them to Orochimaru-sama, then he will reward me greatly with more power than I can even dream of. thought Mizuki with a smirk on his lips. Seeing the smirk on Mizuki's face, Naruto decides to hear what the law Mizuki was talking about is and go with the flow. "Okay Mizuki-sensei, please tell me what is the law everyone knows but I don't know?" asked Naruto desperately, keeping up his act. "You see Naruto, 13 years ago on your birthday Yondaime didn't kill the Kyuubi like everyone says, but he used his life to turn him into a child, and that is you," said Mizuki with a hint of sympathy, trying to convince him that he was trying to help him. Upon hearing what Mizuki said, Naruto continues his act of being devastated by the news while inwardly sneered at Mizuki. What an idiotic ignorance. How he had become Chunin I have no idea. Seeing the expression on Demon's face, Mizuki continues, "See Naruto, it's just like I told you, they're trying to stop you from passing the exam. Think about it, if anyone cared about you then, why would you have to take graduation exam 3 times just because of simple bunshine, where just previous year there was a student who was allowed to pass despite of him being incapable to use any ninjutsu or genjutsu," said Mizuki, hoping to use this as an excuse to convince Naruto to go with him and to give him the scroll. "Boo, but what should I do now?" stuttered out Naruto, and succeeded in convincing Mizuki that he was now desperate enough to do anything for him, while thinking, he is telling the truth about the graduation exam. Guess I have to discuss about it with Gigi. "Don't worry Naruto, you can come with me to Orochimaru-sama. He is very powerful and he will surely help you get stronger, and then you can show everyone your power and get revenge on them for mistreating you," Mizuki said warmly while extending a hand to Blonde, who had fallen in ground in shock of the news and let out a sinister smirk of his face. Seeing the Blonde accept his hand, the success of his plan, Mizuki's smirk dropped when Naruto gripped his hand tightly. "I'm not an idiot Mizuki, and I am not going to let you deceive me again," cried Naruto angrily, and took out a kunai and lunged at Mizuki while pulling his hand to at least knock him out and finish this charade, as he believed that he had gotten enough information behind the reason of Mizuki's treason. Mizuki barely manages a critical hit to his heart by hastily spinning out of the way and kicked off the ground to create distance between himself and Naruto, but he had gotten a nasty slash on his left arm as Naruto was holding the kunai in reverse position to knock him out with a strong blow to his windpipe. Mizuki cursed again, seeing his plan to convince the demon brat failed, so he decided to play his trump card and stealthily took out a kunai while hiding it from the view of Naruto. "Why did you want to work for the village where no one acknowledges you? Even Iruka hate you because his parent were also from the many people who were killed by you 13 years ago," snarled out Mizuki, which causes Naruto to stop cold in thought of everything Iruka-sensei hating him, and all the changes in his attitude was just a front. Iruka, who was watching all of this from the bush where both he and Naruto's clone were hiding when Mizuki showed up, and he paled when he heard Mizuki told Naruto of the S-rank secret openly, which was punishable by death. But he told him all the wrong things about Naruto being the Kyuubi himself rather of being sealed inside the Blonde. Iruka desperately wants to get out of here and tell Naruto that this is entirely false, but noticed that the clone was still watching this calmly. He gave a questioning look to clone and get a nod in return, and assumes that Naruto already knows of his status and merely acting. The question is why Naruto is acting instead of doing something. Iruka gets his answer when he sees Naruto attack Mizuki and successfully manages to injure him after he heard the reason for Mizuki to defect, and was stunned that Orochimaru was involved in this, and hoping that somehow Anbu found out this place quickly. But when he heard Mizuki is using his name to demoralize Naruto, he couldn't stop himself any longer and rushes out of the bush while shouting, "Naruto, don't listen to the traitor." The clone cursed, seeing the impulsive action taken by the Chunin. He analyzes the position of everyone and immediately dispels himself to let Original know that Iruka was rushing in. Original Naruto, who was hiding just behind a bush nearby from the very start, and his clone who was conversing with Mizuki all this time, both had gotten the memory of the clone who was watching them with Iruka-sensei, also cursed at the situation. Naruto saw from his hiding spot that Mizuki had sensed Iruka coming and his grip on the kunai tightening, so he readied himself to intervene. Both Mizuki and clone turns towards Iruka's voice, and Mizuki starts again. Iruka, good to see you to come here. Let's finish the demon brat for what he had done." In response, Iruka snarls Naruto didn't do anything and stop spouting nonsense of him being the Kyuubi. And the Iruka turns towards the depressed blondes and said, "Don't listen to Mizuki, Naruto. The Kyuubi is only sealed inside of you, Naruto, but this doesn't mean that you are fox yourself." Both Naruto took a deep breath from hearing this and decided to finish this charade. "This has gotten long enough. I know Iruka-sensei. I have known about the Kyuubi for about a year now, and I knows the difference between kunai and its sealing scroll," clone informed them. This causes Mizuki's eyes to widen and to realize that his plan never was to be successful. "I have also known about the possible deception of your Mizuki from the moment you told me about Forbidden Scroll, so I have made a backup plan in case this was really a ruse. You see Mizuki, just after you gave me this exam I went straight to Hokage Gigi and explained him everything. He gave me the permission to take the scroll to lure you into the trap and to find the reason of your treason and due to you lack of brain. Now I know you are doing this for class missing Orochimaru. Finished Naruto while mocking Mizuki. Hearing this, both Iruka's and Mizuki's eyes bugged out in sheer disbelief of planning of the resident troublemaker. Iruka now realizes why Naruto clone was keeping him from interfering before. In the other hand, Mizuki snarled and lunged towards Naruto with his large shuriken while shouting "You brat!" Frontal assault scoffed Naruto as he drew out of his kunai and charged at Mizuki with impressive speed for a Jonin his age, where he quickly ducked under Mizuki's large shuriken strike and then came up behind Mizuki, where he then quickly turned his kunai to reverse grip and hit Mizuki in the back of the head with the back of hilt of his kunai, knocking him out. As Naruto thought this was over, he saw that there was log in place of Mizuki and realizes that he must have used Kawarimi. Impressive, demon brat, but not unexpected from a demon such as you, replied Mizuki as he had used the distraction to get the forbidden scroll. Naruto cursed inwardly for underestimating his opponent but did not respond to Mizuki's remark and just got into a stance to prepare to fight Mizuki as he was not going to let him get away with the forbidden scroll. Mizuki just smirked when he saw Naruto getting into a weird stance and prepared to fight him. Listen kid, you may have performed excellent in Jonin exam and may be more skilled than the average Jonin, but you're still only a Jonin, while I'm a seasoned and fully trained Chunin, sneered Mizuki. Naruto did not respond to that either and just got ready as he was going to let Mizuki make the first move, which he did as he put the forbidden scroll aside, and then took out and threw several small shurikens at Naruto, who quickly used his kunai to skillfully deflect the shurikens away from both him and Iruka, who was also standing behind him ready for action but was now letting Naruto deal with Mizuki. Seeing this was Blonde's first mission. Unfortunately, Naruto miscalculated and the shurikens were just a distraction, which allows Mizuki came up from Naruto's right hand side to try and knock him out with the blunt side of his kunai. Fortunately, Naruto had saw Mizuki coming towards him at the corner of his eye and was able to spin around in time to block Mizuki's kunai with his own kunai. For the next few minutes the two of them traded blows against one another with neither giving the other much ground. As this was happening and Iruka watched the two of them fight and could not help but be amazed at how Naruto, a newly promoted Jonin who was also dead last of the class, was able to hold his own and fight against a Chunin like Mizuki. After another minute or so of fighting, both Naruto and Mizuki broke away from one another to take a break. Mizuki was panting slightly, but Naruto on the other hand was perfectly fine, as he had a lot of stamina, which to his understanding is due to the QB. Pant. I have to admit kid, you're more skilled than I thought you were, but you're still no match for me and you can't beat me. So why don't you do yourself a favor and give up and come with me quietly and you would get hurt, said Mizuki. No thank you, and I don't intend to lose, especially to traitors like you. But don't worry about me, just worry about yourself. Naruto replied and sent a volley of shurikens at Mizuki, which he dodges by rolling to right. Just as he stood up from rolling, he saw Naruto had thrown several more shuriken, but all of them completely misses him and mocked, "Where were you aiming dead last? You can't even throw shuriken st." Arkansas. Mizuki cannot finish his sentence because several more shuriken also passed him, but now from his back and all of the shuriken were attached to ninja wire and they all bind him in his place. Both Mizuki and Iruka turns towards the direction which shurikens came from and saw another Naruto coming toward them, and he was holding the wire connecting to Mizuki. Naruto, seeing the obvious question, decides to explain as clone distracted Mizuki by purposefully missing his target. I used this distraction to my advantage and had also thrown my shuriken with ninja wire from behind Mizuki and used wire manipulation to bind him in his place. Now we only have to wait for Anbu to arrive, and with that my first mission will successfully complete, announced Naruto happily. Hearing Anbu coming here, Mizuki wiggles in his bounding to escape while shouting, "Release me, you insolent brat, I will kill you." Fearing that Mizuki will escape, and Naruto gave a nod to his clone, who knocked out the traitor with a hard blow to the back of his head. After few minutes a group of Anbu arrived and analyzes the situation, and a female Anbu went to Naruto. "Uzumaki, Naruto, you are to come with us to Hokage peacefully or we will use force," ordered an Anbu with a cat mask and has purple hair. Hearing the accusing tone of Anbu, Iruka came to defense of blonde Naruto is innocent. Mizuki is the real culprit. He had told Naruto to steal the scroll in the name of a secret test, trying to prove Naruto is not responsible. Regardless, Uzumaki should have known to believe such a lie, and if he falls for such a lie then it is clear that he isn't ready to become a shinobi, rebuked the Anbu in stern tone. As Iruka was opening his mouth to argue, he was beaten to it by Naruto, who began defending himself. "Anbu-san, this is a ninja village, so there is highest possibility of validity of secret test, and on top of that in the academy we were taught to follow order of our superior provided the order they give had merit, so since Mizuki was my superior at the time and had given a legitimate reason behind the test when questioned by me, I decided to follow through it. But I didn't follow through it blindly. The Hokage was also in it, and anything else you want to know you can ask him. Finished Naruto and picked up the forbidden scroll and secured it on his back and turned towards Iruka and Anbu woman. Anbu-san, if you would please take Iruka-sensei and me to the Hokage's office. Naruto asked the Anbu woman who was accusing him. With that, a stunned Anbu and Iruka along with Naruto vanished in a swirl of leaf, and the remaining Anbu takes the traitor for imprisonment in similar way. Few minutes later, Sandaime Hokage sighed with relief when he saw through his telescopic technique that the Anbu arrived. Now he is waiting for the blonde to come here along with Iruka, and few minutes later Naruto and Iruka appeared in front of him in a flurry of leaves. The old man critically analyzes Naruto to know if he suffered any injuries during this whole debacle. Before the old man could say anything, Anbu with purple hair stepped forward with a question. Hokage-sama, Uzumaki-san tells that you were involved in the Forbidden Scroll theft and all of these were a ploy to know Mizuki's intention towards the scroll. Is there any truth to what Uzumaki-san says? Yes, Nico. This afternoon Naruto came to meet me and told me all about this test that Mizuki has told him, and the reason he gave Naruto also sounded true, so I gave him permission to take the scroll to find out the reason behind the theft plan. Sandaime informed both Anbu and Iruka. After satisfying Anbu's curiosity, he gave the signal to dismiss her. Now Sandaime turns his gaze sharply towards Iruka, making the Chunin flinch. No one below Jonin should have known about the theft, so how did you know and why did you went after Naruto in the first place before knowing facts about it, Iruka? Asked the aged Hokage in a stern tone. Naruto came to Iruka's defense before the Chunin could say anything. It wasn't Iruka-sensei's fault, Hokage Gigi. You see, Mizuki informed him, and due to his worry towards me he couldn't help himself. So he wanted to get to me first, thinking that if anyone who caught me first and if they already hate me then there is a possibility that he would kill me. Naruto told old man while sending a small smile to Iruka, getting an appreciative nod in return. The Hokage sighed and smiled towards Naruto. Okay Iruka, this time I will overlook it, but from next time get all the facts before you went charging towards a situation. Now if you please leave Naruto and me, I had few things to tell to him. Old Hokage ordered Iruka. Naruto waves to Iruka. Okay, see you next week Iruka-sensei. And when Iruka was gone he turned serious while turning towards the old man and sees the same serious expression on his face. The blonde went towards the Hokage's desk and handed the forbidden scroll from his back to Hokage. Now Naruto, are you able to successful in finding out the motive of Mizuki behind theft? Questioned the old man, who was rather curious about if the newly graduated Jonin is able to get any valuable information. Yes Ji-chan, as we speculated earlier, Mizuki's first objective was to frame me for the theft, then he would kill me due to his beliefs that I am the Kyuubi itself rather than its container, and then flee the village. The fleeing the village is quite easy to deduce, but to whom he was fleeing was the problem. Naruto informed the old man while thinking deeply about it, which somewhat created suspense. Sandaime waited for the blonde to continue, but when he saw that he was currently in deep thought he became irritated and yelled, well, what are you waiting for, tell me already. Which brought Naruto out of his thoughts. Naruto sheepishly scratched the back of his neck in embarrassment but again became serious. Sorry. Well, you see, he told me a name and that is Orochimaru. Hearing this, Sandaime's face paled, which Naruto noticed, but he continued, as far I know there was once a student of yours whose name was also Orochimaru. And seeing your face I think that they were the same. Sandaime regretfully sighs while shadowing his face with his hat. In that moment Naruto didn't saw an all-powerful Hokage but an old man way past his prime and with heavy burden. Naruto wanted to comfort the old man but he didn't know all the things about this Orochimaru relation to third, so he waited for Hokage to say anything to him. After collecting himself, looked towards Naruto. I shouldn't tell you anything, but due to your involvement in this it's best if you know all the facts. Then Sandaime began telling him all the relative things about Orochimaru. So for the next hour Naruto was informed that Orochimaru was a once-in-a-decade genius and was in a Jonin team along with Tsunade and Jiraiya, who was personally taught by Sandaime himself. All three became so powerful that they were called a specific rank Sannin, and there is no other Sannin present anywhere else. But Orochimaru wanted more power and he wanted to learn all the jutsu and was obsessed with bloodlines. He began experimenting on civilians despite of their age, and even some were newborns, and when he was found out he went rogue and was declared an S-class missing nin. Sandaime also told him that at this time, due to his age, even he wouldn't be able to defeat him. That is all there is to it that I can tell you, Naruto, and I hope you understand the gravity of the situation and don't tell anyone about this information, because I think there might be a spy in the village, because Mizuki was lowly Chunin and even Jonin don't know the place where the forbidden scroll is kept. Sandaime ordered, making Naruto nod. Now about the mission. At first this was a B-ranked mission, but due to the information it was now an A-ranked mission. Sandaime informed Naruto while smiling. In response, Naruto became excited about completing a higher rank mission, but he also wants to know something about missions, and who has better knowledge about them than the famed professor. Great, now that I have completed a mission, then I don't have to worry about passing the true Genin exam. But is there anything like scroll or a pamphlet to know all about missions conducts, requirement to get a higher rank mission and amount it pays, and is there any more benefits about those missions that majority doesn't know? Naruto asked the old Hokage. Ah yes, all the information regarding the missions is available to new Genins. Sandaime informed the blonde and gave him a scroll which Naruto pocketed. That scroll contains the required information and your payment for completing a ranked mission. Thanks old man, I will see you next week for ID registration. Naruto cheerfully waved the third and went his way. After Naruto exits the office, Sandaime sighed and thanked the stars that blonde already knew about the Kyuubi beforehand. He shudders to think what would have happened if he came to know his condition in this situation. It was quite possible that he would be more prone to believe Mizuki and went to Orochimaru, because Naruto became serious because he learned of his condition on his own, and if he hadn't know about it then he would still be the same immature naive idiot dead last. Naruto's apartment. As soon as Naruto reached his home he immediately took out the scroll on which everything the clone had copied from the Forbidden Scroll. He already had a general idea what is written on it but just wants to get an overview on them. When he opens the scroll he saw a variety of jutsus, of which majority of which are elemental techniques and all of them are S-rank techniques. All of them required at least mid-cage chakra capacity. One thing all of them had in common is that there is a note above all of the techniques showing requirements even before trying to perform the jutsus itself. There are several Suiten, Katen, Fuuten, Raiten, Doten techniques which his clone had copied from the scroll, and all of them had two requirements, and the first one which the user must have completed all the elemental manipulation training of the required element respectively, and the user must also be able to perform at least 2A rank technique in quick succession without getting his chakra depleted. Naruto is quite excited to get his hands on these jutsus, but he had no idea where he would get 2A ranks jutsu for each element, and he had no idea about this elemental manipulation training. He decided to ask the old man next week. After the jutsu part there was some kind of notes on higher level mediating techniques, but he was satisfied with his present level of mediation for now, so he decided to wait for a few months for trying new one. He was also excited about the training possibility of Kajibunshin technique, which can be used for improving his training tremendously. With those thoughts he finally decides to sleep while thinking about all the things he had planned to do tomorrow. Chapter 5. Chance Encounter. Next morning, Naruto was now making his way to the weapon shop. The old man had given him address to when he had confronted him about Kyuubi some months ago. As he was now officially a shinobi, so he is licensed to buy high-quality goods such as weapons, clothing and various essential things, unlike the students who all came from the clans. Naruto had went to the shop to know if he was truly welcome here like the old man said, or he was lying again, and he wasn't disappointed a bit. Since Academy provides low-quality weapons which he stole due to Mizuki and other teacher always providing lowest of lowest quality, he didn't bother to buy any weapon in his Academy days and always practiced with them, and now that he can actually buy high-quality shuriken and kunai, he believes that his shuriken jutsu will increase from mid-chunin to low jonin with little practice with the weapons. To get the feel of them, Naruto knows that despite all the training he had done last, he wouldn't be able to beat high-level chunin. He believes that because he had spent majority of last year in improving his chakra control to the point that by his estimation 1 or 2 more week of chakra control exercise and he would attain perfect chakra control. So he had made a plan to use his chakra control along with his extraordinary amount of chakra to help him battle to win against any kind of odd. After few minutes of roof hopping, Naruto reached the shop, which doesn't look like it has anything special in it on the outside, but Naruto doesn't mind the condition of the shop. Went inside. There is a huge difference between inside and outside of the shop. Where on the outside it looked like the building was about to collapse, but from inside it was well maintained and kept as new as any shop which has recently opened. The shop was divided into 3 sections: clothing section, weapons section, and ninja essentials section, and there was also a new section which Naruto hadn't seen previously. The weapon section has wide variety of weapon littered on the showcase for the customers to examine them and choose them according to their body's capability. Ninja essentials section contains all the supplementary items a shinobi required for any mission, like sealing scrolls of various sizes, explosive tags, smoke bombs, chakra pill, ration pill, camping tent, etc. Similarly, clothing store contains specially made clothes that can endure ninja lifestyle, but Naruto did not go to any of them but went towards the counter, which was minded by a middle-aged man. As soon as Naruto reached the counter, hello Naruto-san, how are you this morning? And I see you graduate from the academy. In that case, congratulations are in order," greeted the man handling the counter. This man is Ryu, and he is this shop's owner and a retired shinobi. When Naruto first came to this store, he was pleasantly surprised that he was welcomed here, but he was even more surprised that this man Ryu treated him like his any other man. "Hello Ryu-san," Naruto greeted politely as he reached the counter. "Thank you for your congratulations, But now that I have become a ninja, I have decided to finally buy weapons, and I also something special in mind for my wardrobe." Naruto instantly went to business mode after greeting. "I am sorry Naruto-san, you also have to pass the exam provided by your assigned Jonin-sensei and buy anything ninja related," Ryu said to him with a frown, but became confused when he saw a smirk on Naruto's face. Here Naruto took out a scroll and gave the man, who gave him a questioning look, so Naruto decided to explain a bit. "No need worry about any of those, because as you can see in the scroll I have already performed a successful A-ranked mission, so I don't need to pass the true Jonin exam to become ninja." Ryu checked the scroll validity and seeing the Hokage's stamp he smiles towards Naruto. Well, it seems you have bypassed a difficult test." "Well, so what is it you required?" inquired Ryu. "I want 50 high-quality kunai, 100 shuriken, 1000 meters ninja wire, a metal bow staff and a chokudo. All of these should be made in chakra metal. The chokudo sheath and handle should be in high-quality wood and should be painted in metallic red colored. I also want a full-body spandex made from chakra thread and in same metallic red, a form-fitting chainmail also made from chakra metal for extra defense, a pair of high-quality steel-toed black soft leather combat boots which also should have chakra metal on its front end as well as back, a soft leather black combat gloves with chakra metal finger and knuckles." Naruto informed Ryu, whose jaw was hanging from his mouth in disbelief. After some moment Ryu clears his throat. "Are you sure you can pay for all these things? Because all of the things you require contains high-quality chakra metal, which are most expensive type of metal." "Don't worry about money, but I want all of my order by the end of the week. By the way, what is the new counter? I haven't seen that when I have visited before?" Naruto asked, ignoring the look of disbelief on Ryu's face. On hearing Naruto's question, Ryu came out of his shock. "Well, that counter contains jutsu scrolls for ninja to buy from. But there were requirements such as a ninja can only buy same rank of ninjutsu scroll if he or she had completed that rank mission. That means if a person only completed one B ranked mission, he can only buy 1 B ranked jutsu scrolls or 2 C ranked jutsu scroll or 4 D ranked jutsu scrolls. On top of that, the price for the jutsu scroll is very high, like for B ranked jutsu price is equal to complete price of a B ranked mission. It also same for all the jutsu scrolls. So there isn't many people who can buy that many jutsu." Hearing this, Naruto remembers what he had read about the missions this morning. Usually all the missions are taken in a team of 3 or more, so the mission payment is divided equally among all of the participants of the same mission. So Naruto came to realization that since it was difficult to get full payment of the missions, so not many people can spend their money buying all the jutsus. But there was still a question in his mind: but how come I didn't saw that counter before today? Naruto asked Ryu. "Your ninja regulation headband is responsible for that. You see, there is always a genjutsu present on that counter to prevent enemy to simply steal the jutsu scrolls, but when you got the headband, the genjutsu which was over the counter lifted, enabling you to saw it," Ryu answered. Naruto made his way to the jutsu counter along with Ryu. On reaching it, Naruto asked another question. "I have completed an A-ranked mission as you saw on the scroll, so is that means that I can only buy 1 A-ranked jutsu scroll?" "No, if you have completed 1 A-ranked mission, then you can either 1 A-ranked jutsu or 2 B-ranked jutsu or 4 C-ranked jutsu or 8 D-ranked jutsu," Ryu told him and went to the counter. So Naruto began to saw through them what he would take. After few minutes, Naruto chose 8 D-ranked jutsu and handed them to Ryu. "I will take these 8 jutsu, please pack it." Ryu took a look at the jutsu, thinking like all of the ninja he would get higher ranked jutsu, but was perplexed to see that Naruto only chose D-ranked ones. But he nonetheless packed them. "Ryu-san, can you give me estimate of total expense for my whole order?" Naruto asked the shop owner. In response, Ryu began calculating while Naruto waited patiently for him to complete. "Well, Naruto-san, you require 8 D ranks jutsu, which is 5,000 ryo each, that is 40,000 ryo, 50 kunai will cost you 5,000 ryo, 100 shuriken will also cost you 5,000 ryo, 1,000 meters ninja wire will be up to 1,000 ryo, bow staff will be 10,000 ryo, the chokudo will cost you 50,000 ryo, your whole uniform as per your order will cost you 200,000 ryo. So your total order will be 316,000 ryo," Ryu informed Naruto. Naruto mentally whistled hearing the total amount. Normally he wouldn't be able to pay that much amount, but because he had gotten all the money his parents left for him from Sandaime, he can afford it now, so Naruto happily paid man half of the price. "Okay, thanks Ryu-san. Here, take this half of it now and you will get other half the end of the week," and turns to exit the shop while taking the jutsu scrolls he had bought. Just as Naruto was about to exit the shop, he halted his steps and again backtracked to when Ryu was Ryu-san, there is another thing. Can you make all the clothes I have ordered in large adult size please? Naruto asked. Seeing no reason to deny such request, Ryu readily agreed. Happy that his first important work for him to become a successful ninja is completed, Naruto make his way towards his next destination, Konoha Hospital. After 15 minutes Naruto reaches his next destination, which is hospital. Naruto had already decided that he would try to learn aerial ninjutsu when he would achieve perfect or near-perfect chakra control when he had started his Fuinjutsu studies, so now that he was so close in achieving perfect chakra control he decided that it was time to start learning aerial ninjutsu. Naruto enters the establishment and went straight towards the counter. On the counter there was mid-aged woman working some kind of paperwork. Naruto went near it and clears his throat to get her attention. When the woman looked up from her work and Naruto saw a sneer forming on her face, Naruto inwardly groans inside while thinking this will be very unpleasant. When the woman looked up and saw the demon brat, she sneered for a moment but after that looked at blonde neutrally. "What do you want?" Woman on the counter asked Naruto rudely. Ignoring the rude tone, Naruto gave the woman a small smile and asked politely, "Can you please tell me what the procedure to become an aerial ninja is?" The woman became stunned seeing the demon brat smile at her despite knowing of her dislike of him and became more surprised when she heard that he wants to become an aerial ninja. At that time she began to ponder, is this the brat who all of the villagers regards as demon? Seeing the woman deep in thought, Naruto again clears his throat, which brought her out of her stupor, and she stammers out a response. "Well, you can go meet the hospital head Miwaki-sensei at the top of this building at room 500. She is the only one who can accept your application to become an aerial ninja," the receptionist informed Naruto. Naruto thanked her and went towards hospital's head's office. When reached the room 500 he knocked on the door and hearing a come-in response enters the office. The office consists of several large cabinets and Naruto assumes contains all the information regarding the hospital. There was a big desk on the left side of the office near a window from which the Hokage monument could be seen clearly. There was a woman sitting at the desk and looking at him with an expression he can't comprehend. This woman looks to be slightly older than the receptionist. Naruto decides to stop wasting her time and went towards the desk. "Good morning, Miwaki-sensei. My name is Uzumaki Naruto and I want to learn aerial ninjutsu. The receptionist below told me that only you can approve of anyone becoming an aerial ninja," Naruto told the hospital head. Miwaki was already informed by the receptionist that the resident prankster and the so-called demon boy is coming to meet her and was intrigued on why would a child said to have such a personality wants to learn medicine. So she was waiting for him in her office, and when the blonde enters and she saw he first begins to inspect his new surrounding and was also trying to read her, she was slightly amused and hugely interested in knowing the reason for his rather drastic change. "Well, Naruto-kun, from what I have heard about you from academy teachers that you are a very hyperactive child and are unable to sit patiently even for a few minutes. The medicine field requires a huge amount of focus and patience even to start learning it. So how can you think that you are qualified to learn it?" questioned a curious Miwaki. Hearing the question, Naruto thought for a few minutes and answered, "The things you have heard about me from the academy is the only because I present myself in front of them in that way. And about me having patience, do you know how much time is required to perform a successful prank on a high-security place such as Anbu headquarters, Hokage's mansion?" finished Naruto in a questioning tone. "Even still you don't think that I can become proficient in medicine? Why don't you try me for first month only, and if I didn't show any progress then I myself would give up on it." "And Uzumaki Naruto, don't ever give up," challenged Naruto. Miwaki was impressed by blonde's determination, but there was still a problem. "Good Naruto-kun. From your words I can see that you are serious about becoming a medic ninja and your attitude is very different from what I have heard from the academy, but only the ones with exceptional chakra control can become aerial ninja," Miwaki informed Naruto straightforwardly. "I know, Miwaki-sensei. I will tell you a secret. I already have 90% chakra control, and by my estimation it will only take me one more month to reach perfect chakra control, and from what I know a medic nin required either perfect 110% minus 150% chakra control to be able to perform aerial ninjutsu, with the exception of Senjutsu Tsunade who had 200% chakra control," Naruto informed the head a bit smugly. Seeing her bewildered expression, Miwaki was stunned hearing this, because while it was rare for anyone to have 200% chakra control, it was even more rare occurrence for someone to have perfect chakra control, because in case of chakra control over 100% there is an imbalance between the ninja's physical and spiritual energies. So in case of the entire medic nin are not very proficient in ninjutsu or taijutsu, because of that medics are always deemed which can protect him/her, and Tsunade is also included in this. But when a ninja attains 100% chakra control or perfect chakra control, then that ninja has perfect balance between the physical and spiritual energies. Only one person is said to be able to have perfect chakra control in all over history of elemental nations, and that person in Senju Hashirama, the first Hokage. So after hearing that the blonde could attain perfect chakra control, Miwaki only took out a scroll and threw it to Naruto. That scroll contains all the information and procedure for joining Iryo Corps. Review it and come to me on the mentioned date on the scroll for your selection exam, and if you pass then you can join the Corps. And now I will give you a challenge. If you are able to attain perfect chakra control and pass the exam and best marks, then I will personally teach you everything I know." The head doctor informed Naruto. Naruto quietly pocketed the scroll and bowed to Miwaki in thanks and went on his way. Naruto's secret training ground. As Naruto reached his secret training ground, he saw his clones were at hard work. Before going to the weapon shop, Naruto had came here and created 200 cage bunshines for training purposes approximately 4 hours earlier because of their experience's transferring function. He thought that if he can use it to gain experience in brain-related activities like chakra control, muscle memory, learning etc. From the 200 bunshines, 50 were practicing of an advanced branch of chakra control exercise known as chakra shape transformation, Keitai Henka. In this branch, a ninja channels his/her chakra in various stable geometrical shapes. This exercise is one of the foundations of jutsu creation. Naruto came upon it when he had sent a clone in the Chunin section of the library for more advanced chakra control training, that senbone spinning, and from what he was seeing, almost all of the clones have successfully mastered the exercise. Naruto was excited by the development of his clones and thought that by the end of this training session he would be able to get 100% control over his chakra. Remaining 150 of bunshine were all training in taijutsu. They were divided in 3 groups equally and were practicing snake fist style/heavy ken, hard fist style/go ken and gamma ken respectively to gain experience in them. When Naruto saw that all the bunshines are now able to perform chakra manipulation with ease, he dispels all the bunshines simultaneously and was instantly bombarded by 200 bunshines memory all at one, which results in him getting one hell of a headache. Naruto lay down on the ground to ease his headache, all the while massaging his scalp. It took quite a while for Naruto to manage his migraine and another few minutes to completely recover from it. As soon as he recovered, Naruto tried to make sense of the experience and memory of all his bunshines. But no matter what he tried, he can't seem to get anything. Frustrated, Naruto tries to calm down by taking several deep breaths and began thinking why he can't seem to comprehend any memory or experience he received from his clone. He finally came to several startling realization. First is that he gained such headache because he dismissed all the bunshines at the same time. Second is that he couldn't get all the experiences and memories cleared because he practiced several things at same time, so when the bunshines dispersed, all of their memory became jumbled in his brain, which is why it's impossible for him to determine anything from them. Now comes the most important part regarding the cage bunshine training. To see whether he can perform chakra shape transformation to the same degree as his bunshines. So he began focus on creating a chakra string, which is the first step of shape transformation, but no matter how hard he tried, he can only make a thin chakra string of only half feet, where his bunshines could create a fairly durable chakra string of 10 feet. Seeing the result, Naruto sighed and again began to ponder on possible reason for failure. But he can't seem to get any reason why it would fail. So he decided to review what he know about the cage bunshine jutsu. It's a jutsu designed to create a solid bunshine of the user to help him in reconnaissance due to transferring of the memory and experience of the bunshine to the original upon its dispelling. This jutsu requires large chakra reserve, and the user's chakra is equally distributed among his bunshine. Naruto mutters to himself. As soon as he recalls the chakra part, it made sense to him. Since he had created 200 bunshines, so every one of them barely had chakra, which made chakra control easier for them to show that much proficiency in them in only 5 hours, and he shudders to think how much time it would require for him to become proficient in it. Naruto decides that he had to find a way to use the Kage bunshine to its full potential for him to complete the challenge provided to him by Miwaki-sensei. It was easy to overcome memory / he would only need to dispel minimum amount of bunshine at a time. From preventing the memory and experience to jumble, he would have to create a seal which he will apply on him, and when he would create Kage bunshine and when it was time for dispelling a group of clones, then that group and him would deactivate the seal on them and then dispel. By this, no other cage bunshine will get the memory of them, and the original can sort out memory better. Now for the main problem, that is the effectiveness of the technique. Naruto realized that first he would have to find a way to increase the bunshine chakra capacity after they were formed, and then try to learn a thing from them. After some contemplation, he decided a method where he would be able to take full advantage of the technique. First he would create only 13 bunshine at the start of the day. Them all of them, including the original, went to deep meditation, which will help them regain their full chakra capacity, which upon his estimation would take them like 4 to 5 hours. After that, 10 bunshine would get a certain task each, like chakra control, taijutsu, kenjutsu, fuinjutsu, shuriken jutsu, bojutsu, one for each elemental jutsu he had bought from the shop, one for the D-rank mission, and one for the scroll which he had gotten from Miwaki-sensei. First, chakra control, which he knows that he had 90% control over it, and now he had begun to chakra shape transformation. which is a more advanced aspect of chakra control techniques, and the difference between them is they require considerable more chakra than regular chakra control exercise. This aspect is heavily dependent upon creation and manipulation of chakra string, which is the most basic step for it, and when the user is successfully able to create chakra string of 20 feet, then they would have manipulate them in various complex shape and size. So the first clone will again make 200 bunshines to practice it for the first day, and then again on the next day that bunshine will only create half of the clones created on previous day to practice it, and so on so forth. So it would only take him 9 days to master it. Then he would repeat the process all over again for a harder exercise. Then for taijutsu, that one bunshine will create 200 bunshine. Since taijutsu is not dependent on chakra, from that 200 bunshine 50 will practice heavy ken, 50 will practice goken, 50 will practice gamaken, and remaining 50 will try to combine one aspect of each of the three styles into one, like evasiveness and parrying of heavy ken, speed and attacking power of goken, and defensive and countering of gamaken. Next is kenjutsu, which is also known as sword fighting, and for this branch again the assigned bunshine will create 200 bunshine, and at first all of them will try to learn basic stances of sword wielding, and when they become proficient in it, then all of them will try to incorporate chokudo with heavy ken style, because he knows that this style is all about waiting for an opportune moment to attack while evading or parrying opponents' blows, and in kenjutsu if you took even a glancing blow it will affect your performances. So this style is perfect for kenjutsu. Fuinjutsu will be only branch where bunshine will not create any extra bunshine for help in it, but he will only use them for increasing his writing speed. For shurikenjutsu all of his bunshine will try to perfect their aim and throwing techniques in various positions possible in a battlefield, and they will also practice trap making. He had also gotten a scroll advanced technique related to shuriken and kunai throwing just before the graduation exam. The scroll contains a way to increasing throwing speed with the use of chakra. The scroll explains that if a ninja pulls his chakra just in the precise moment of the throw, and the speed will increase up to 2 times of regular throw. Bojutsu training will be very similar to kenjutsu training, but with a minor difference. In place of heavy ken, his bunshines will try to incorporate a bow staff with gamaken fighting style. Because from what he had read from the Bojutsu style of fighting, it mainly consists of defending and countering the opponent's attacks, which is similar to gamaken. Next 5 clones will train an elemental jutsu for each jutsu of every element he had bought in a similar process of chakra control training. First 200 bunshine will train in each of them for first day, then the number will be reduced to half of the previous day, and so on so forth, and by this method it will take 9 days for him to successfully use them even in his full chakra capacity, and after that all the bunshine will repeat the process for next jutsu. The bunshine assigned to get a D-ranked mission will further create 15 clones and divide them in 3-man cell, which is the standard team formation in which Konoha Ninja operates in their mission. Naruto wants to do 5 D-rank missions per day because by the time of his team assignment he wants to complete the minimum number of D-rank missions required, that is 30 D-rank, to be able to take a C-rank mission. Last clone will be training in Iryo Ninjutsu and will be taking full advantage of Kaji Bunshine to learn it thoroughly. And all the bunshine will be training while wearing the memory blocking seal, and upon time of dispersing only a group of bunshine who are training in a single thing along with the original will deactivate their seal and then disperse them. While all of the clones will be training in their respective fields, the original Naruto will finally begin his physical conditioning, now that he had Kaji Bunshine to rely on his chakra-related training and for medical studies, all of which will help him in increasing his mental/spiritual energy. So now he will have to increase his physical energy through body conditioning. For now it will not be a problem for him, but now that his mental/spiritual energy will now starts to increase 4 times faster from before due to his practicing his chakra control, ninjutsu, fuinjutsu and iryo-jutsu simultaneously, he would have to find a way to get more benefit from the physical exercise. He had an idea to train in resistance and weight training, but he wants to find the limit of his body without them first. Even if he would use both resistance and weight seals, it would only increase his physical conditioning 2 times. So Naruto began thinking of ways to improve the existing seal design for resistance and weight seals, but he can't find anything to improve them in such a way that would help him in this problem. So how to increase the physical energy 2 times faster? And then the answer hit him like a ton of bricks: chakra. For a ninja, chakra makes things easier even when he isn't actively using chakra, because when the chakra is awakened inside a person's chakra coils, that person's body is activated on a whole different level than the civilians, and that is the reason of such a vast difference between a shinobi and regular civilian. So even when a ninja is using taijutsu while consciously not using chakra to help him, even then that ninja's chakra is passively helping him, making the fight easier in respect to experienced civilian fighters who are trained in fighting. This realization gave Naruto an idea to do the physical conditioning while completely sealing his chakra along with resistance and weight seals. but he decides to start this type of conditioning after achieving perfect balance between his stamina/physical energy and mental/spiritual energy. With the finalization of his new training plan, Naruto began training according to it for the rest of the day. When Naruto had completed the training for the day, he was mental and physically tired. He lazily strutted to his apartment, took a shower and went to bed. While on the bed, Naruto began thinking, what is the point of training this hard? No one gave him any time of the day except maybe the Hokage, but he is the Hokage who looks all the villagers like his family. So why did he want to become strong, to become Hokage in the first place? Naruto slapped his cheeks hard to get himself out of his brooding and began thinking all the things what he had read from the scroll provided to him from Miwaki-sensei. The scroll informed him that there will be an entrance exam for him to become an Iryonin 15 days from today. The scroll also contains all the materials required for him become proficient and to pass that exam. The contents of the scroll are divided in two parts. First is all the basic required information required for a ninja who wants to become Iryo ninja. Second is a number of basic academy-level jutsu specifically used by medic ninja. There are 5 jutsu given in the scroll and he was master at least 2 of them to barely pass, 3 of them for average marks, 4 of them to get good marks and 5 of them to pass at full marks. Shinden, diagnosis. Description: the first step in treatment to understands the problem. With this skill, a shinobi uses their hands covered in chakra to carefully probe a patient for problems. This technique is performed by slowly running both hands over their body, looking for signs of injury that may not be visible to the naked eye. It can detect things such as internal injury, improper heart rate, non-apparent bone fractures, poisoning, and disease. A ninja of higher rank has learned to use this technique to perform a rudimentary examination of a body to determine cause and time of death. A Jonin using this skill takes several minutes of work to determine the nature of a problem. A Chunin takes less than a minute and a Jonin requires only a few seconds. Kiyomaru, cleanse. Description: it is not always possible for a medical nin to practice basic hand washing and other procedures. This technique has the effect of instantly removing bacteria, dirt, blood, and other contaminants from the user's hands, lower arms, and face. It also ensures that any breath that comes from the user's body will be free of any bacteria or infectious disease. This technique can also be used to clean the wounds of others in order to prevent infection from bacteria. In the event that the medical nin is using this technique to prevent infection of an injury that has been inflicted upon them, it is used as if the shinobi were using it on somebody else. Shiatsu, massage. Description: for a variety of reasons, muscles, tendons, and ligaments can become overworked and painful. This may be because of some type of injury, or it may simply be the result of too much work without enough rest. By applying the proper amount of pressure at the right points and using small amounts of chakra, a medical nin is able to relieve pain and help the patient's body recover more quickly. A strain or sprain can seriously hinder the effectiveness of a shinobi, and as such this technique really can make a difference. Tikuryoku, power of resistance. Description: a medical nin must always be aware of becoming a victim of whatever their patient is suffering from. With this technique, a medical nin temporarily increases their resistance to diseases and poisons. It has no effect on diseases or poisons already affecting the medical nin. This technique improves as the medical nin grows in power and affords greater resistance to a wider range of diseases and poisons temporarily. Tekishutsu, extraction. Description: when a patient's body has a foreign object in it, such as the point of a shuriken, a senbon needle, or an arrow, it is important to remove the object without further harming the patient. Using this technique, the medical nin places their hands on either side of the injured area and uses chakra to very carefully manipulate the surrounding tissues in order to remove the object without causing any further damage. Depending on the severity of the wound and nature of the object, it can take anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes to remove it. There are various picture illustrations and complete details of the process of how to perform each of the techniques given in the scroll. So earlier that day, for the medical training part from the 200 bunshines, 50 of them read all the 5 books that were sealed in the scroll while memorizing. That means 10 bunshines for each book. The remaining 150 bunshines divided in 5 groups of 30 and trained in all the 5 techniques from the scroll. One thing Naruto marked that the beginning process of all the techniques are very similar to each other. That's why despite only his first day of training in medical ninjutsu, he had made good progress in performing the jutsus successfully despite not performing successfully. While thinking all of these thoughts, he didn't realize when he began snoring. Drip, drip, drip. The sound of dripping water woke Naruto from his dreamless sleep. When Naruto opens his eyes, he finds himself in a corridor-like place. The place has poor lighting and was semi-dark, and there was water all over the floor. Naruto saw left and right trying to find where's the place and how did he get here, when suddenly he sensed an unbelievable large chakra signature somewhere from his right, He went towards it to get any idea of this place, which was like a big sewer. Naruto didn't know for how long he traveled by following the chakra presence, but after what seems like hours he enters a massive chamber whose height is equal to Hokage Monument. There was massive golden gate made up of bars like a jail at which seems like the end of the chamber. Naruto can't seem to see what is present behind the bars but can feel the immeasurable amount of chakra radiates from something behind it, so Naruto clears his throat. "Excuse me, is anyone present in there?" Naruto asked politely because it doesn't hurt to be polite. Suddenly a massive set of blood red and slit it open from inside the cage, and the chakra presence seemed to increase tenfold, bringing Naruto to his knees. His steady breath becomes pant, trying to take air to his lungs because it feels like something unknown is choking him to death. His heart breath increase and eyes are seen to pop out of his socket. With great effort Naruto looked up to where he had seen the eyes behind the gate and saw that there is a set of big mouth consisting of pointy teeth as big as a full-grown adult, and there was several large moving shadows also showing behind the figure. He began counting the shadows moving behind the shadowy figure to see if what he thought of the shadow to be true or not. And as soon as he saw 9 moving shadows behind it, he instantly realizes this is the infamous Kyuubi, or known as Nine-Tailed Fox, and he was using his killing intent on him. He had read about it in a book which he had gotten from the Chunin section of the library. The book had also provided a method of countering the killer intent. With that thought he began concentrating on the method. First Naruto closed his eyes and took several deep breaths to calm him, then he began concentrating on all of his chakra just outside his body and compressed it. If Naruto would look at himself now he would see a light purple light emitting from his body. After compressing the chakra as much as possible, Naruto snapped his open and glared at the eyes and yelled enough, while releasing all of the compressed in a massive pulse which helps him expelling the Kyuubi's chakra from him, and that in turn cancels its killing intent. "Hey, hey, hey," chuckles an amused Kyuubi and continues, "So the esteemed warden greets me with his presence," Kyuubi said mockingly and asked, "What do I owe the honor?" After reining his killer intent so that he can hear his response, Naruto stood up on his feet, glares at Kyuubi slightly but sighed and responds, "I wanted to meet for a long time, Kyuubi. There is something I wanted answer for." "Pathetic Ningen, you have no idea what a long time means, and what gave you the idea I will answer to your question. But I am curious, what is it that you want to know?" Kyuubi asked. "First question is how you suddenly appeared inside the village 13 years ago and what reason you would have to attack the village in the first place?" asked Naruto. "I will not tell you not anything about why I attack your precious village for free, brat. You have to earn my respect for that, brat. And for your first question, I was summoned in the middle of the village like a pathetic summoned animal," snarled out Kyuubi. "What?" roared out Naruto. "Who summoned you?" Naruto asked frantically while thinking of possibility of the power of the man who can summon Kyuubi of all, and he was sure that he would eventually come for him to get the Kyuubi. "Shut up, Gaki." Kyuubi grumbled something about loud brat and continues, "I will not tell you because you can't do anything about now." "Look Kyuubi, is that even your real name, or there is another name for you like Shukaku?" asked an intrigued Naruto. For some time Kyuubi is silent and then asked, "Why do you think this isn't my name?" In return, while inwardly thinking, "Neither Mito or Kushina asked me my name when they both were my Jinchuriki. Hell, they didn't talk with me." Naruto scratches back of his neck confused and responds, "What do you mean? Why do I think that isn't your name?" With a question of his own and seeing Kyuubi raise his massive eyebrow, he took that as cue to continue. "Did in the whole world where every ninja has his own title despite having their name, nobody ever thought of that all the Baijiu very well have a title which depends upon tails, like from Ichibi to Kyuubi, and on top that we all know that Ichibi is also called Shukaku." Naruto questions to Kyuubi in dubious tone. Hearing the blonde spoke about the Baijiu, Kyuubi's eyes widens when he feels, due to his negative emotion, sensing that he genuinely believes what he was saying. Naruto didn't know as he was speaking he has gained slight respect of Kyuubi. "Very well Naruto Gaki, I along with all other Baijiu have names, but I will not tell you mine or theirs name because you haven't earned the right to know them." Hearing this, Naruto pouted childishly and was inwardly happy to hear his name from the powerful being. "Well, how can I earn the right to know all of yours name?" Naruto questioned, wanting to know their names and gain possibly his lifelong partner. "You have to find a way to at least get rid of the damned gate which is making me feel like a caged animal." Kyuubi informed its Jinchuriki. "I can do that, but not right now. I have studied the seal as soon as I gained level 7 seal mastery, but this a very complex seal which is created by combining 2 Shisho Fuing, 4-symbol seal, to create a Haki no Fu in Shiki, 8-symbol seal formula, and that was being powered by Shiki Fuujin. There are only 2 methods to free you from the cage. First is to get the key of the seal, and I have no idea where it could be, and I couldn't ask Hokage Gigi to get it either. He will think you are influencing me." Naruto informed Kyuubi, making him nod understandingly, and continues somewhat hesitatingly, "You will not like the second method," finished Naruto while trying to avoid eye contact from it. Kyuubi was anxious and demands, "Well, what is the second method that I don't like? Come on, spit it out." Impatiently, Naruto sighed and looked at Kyuubi with dead serious eyes. Second method is for me to gain complete control over your chakra, informed Naruto gravely, and when he saw Kyuubi was on the verge of releasing his killing intent again, he raised his hand to stopping him from doing anything and explains. You see, normally a seal this complex can only be opened with his key, but this was made in such a way that there are 27 gaps in the lock, which has made less powerful than it was originally supposed to be. So there are only two possibilities: that creator had made a mistake or he wanted to made like that, and seeing that the Ondaime Hokage crafted the seal who was greatest seal master at the time, I strongly believe that he wants me to master your chakra completely. And as I starts to master your chakra little by little, the lock will continue to deteriorate, and when I will completely master your chakra without losing myself, then the lock will be completely gone. Finished Naruto. Kyuubi ponders on what he had learned from the brat, and he had also sensed that he is telling the truth, but he wants to ask one last thing to know if the brat is genuine in his claim, and asked, what makes you so sure that when the lock simply weakens enough that I will not take over your body? Well, first thing is that there is a safety precaution which will activate itself when the seal realize that you are attempting to harm me, and the second this is that I'd trust you. Smiled Naruto genuinely towards Kyuubi. But how can you trust me? You have just met me and I am the reason of your suffering in your entire life, asked Kyuubi in a bewildered expression. You are wrong, Kyuubi, this isn't the first time I have met you. I have forgotten, but at age 6, when I have been severely beaten up and lost consciousness, I ended up in this very chamber, but you were sleeping at that time, and I saw a silver of your chakra came to me and I instantly feel better, but before I could woke you up I regains consciousness and didn't come here again, informed Naruto. So I know despite it your fault in making my life difficult, you are also trying to help me in way, even if it was unintentional help, and due to your presence my chakra capacity and reserve are massive, which will help me to become strong, Naruto said again with a smile. And as for my trust on you goes, in this world everyone wants for people to trust them first, but nobody wants to trust first. Everyone thought of you Baijus as mindless beast, but now here we are having a civil conversation, which proves that you are misunderstood, and in a way your situation are same as me up to an extent. And I have two benefits from mastering your chakra. First is that with your permission I can get out of difficult situation, and second is my physical and mental energies will also increase as the lock of the seal weakens, because the seal is present over my chakra coil. When a layer of a seal weaken, my mental energy will also increase, and as my body is able to successfully channels your chakra, my physical energy will also increase, and by the time I have perfect control of your chakra, my chakra reserve and capacity will increase so much that I can successfully get you out of my body. Finished Naruto, much to the astonishment of Kyuubi. For a long moment Kyuubi was quiet, and Naruto feared that he would not be able to gain trust from it. But then it spoke. You are an interesting human, so I will cooperate with you by helping you mastering my chakra, but it won't be easy. My chakra is several times more powerful than human, so by my estimate it would take you about 2 to 3 years to gain full control of my chakra. But why would take me that long? Normally it would take much longer than that without your cooperation, but even with your cooperation why would it take that long? Asked a confused Naruto. Idiot Ningen, don't take my chakra lightly, and you have to master several stages of my chakra before you ever hope to get 100% control over it, Kyuubi said seriously, and continues, and when you reached a certain level of mastery I will tell you all the name of the Baijuo. Oh, so that's how it is. So when we will begin my training? Asked an excited Naruto. You will start after you get perfect chakra control, because it will help you to overcome my chakra's influence, and after you have at least 1 month of physical conditioning, because it will take huge toll on your body at first. Kyuubi informed gravely while hiding a few things from Naruto, like that his chakra is closely intertwined with hatred. Now get out of here, I will inform you when it will be time for your training. Kyuubi dismissed the blonde and let out a huge roar. Before Naruto could do anything he faded away from his mindscape. That's the end guys. If you enjoyed, then make sure to leave a comment. This is Chaos Shinobi signing off.